All right, gobble gobble. Welcome to another episode
This is my
of the
mom and
Beard
dad,
and the
king
Bookie.
and queen.
Why you give me the look? Because I said gobble gobble.
Yes, exactly, because you said gobble gobble. Like, what the fuck is that?
It's Thanksgiving tomorrow. I'm allowed to say gobble
Yeah,
gobble.
yeah. All right, fine.
All right. Anyway, another edition of the Beard and the Bookie. I am the Bookie Dan. There's the beard. Josh, the Stash Chico, will make his usual pop in here at some point. But the masses, aka the chat, have spoken and they want us to talk some baseball. So let us talk some baseball. And first, let's talk about our favorite thing when we talk baseball, and that's our commissioner, Mr. Manfred. Mr. Manfred has come out and essentially endorsed the lockout, which we knew was coming anyway. We are now, a week away. Um, he has basically tried to spin it as the lockout is a necessary move to helping the negotiations. And basically, what he means is he doesn't want to open himself to the similar situation that we had in '94, in which we had this. The owners didn't lock out the players, and the players in turn striked. That's the last thing the owners want to hear. So the owners are like, "We'll just lock you out ahead of time, force you to come to the table, and then we'll get up." But my thing is, right, he's talking about how the lockout, forces us to the table and helps try to speed up these negotiations because we really don't want to lose any games. But if you are so worried about this, then why have there been little to no negotiations to this point? I mean, we've basically had two proposals sent back and forth from each side thus far. I mean, you would think, knowing that you've had this whole season. All right, there was really no COVID issues. You played a whole year, so you weren't focused on trying to get any of that taken care of. So you had a whole year, and you've had this off season, which is now almost 2 months old, and that's all we got. So I don't, the whole like forcing us to get to the no, like you had plenty of time to try and get the ball rolling, and you really haven't.
It's honestly just more Manfred trying to save face somehow, even though we all see through it at this point. Like like you said, you had the entire season to negotiate here, and if you're just sending mediocre proposals back and forth and you're not really making any headway, you can't be like, "Good, the lockout's going to bring us to the table." Lockout's not going to change anything. The only thing that's going to make people start talking is you coming up with an actual deal that makes sense. So you have to come back with something viable to actually get some conversations going, because the MLBPA isn't going to take anything seriously until they start seeing some of the things that they actually want being brought forth to the table.
I mean, until we can get to the point of the owner, either side, throwing something remotely close to a reasonable money request on the table, we're not going to go anywhere. Not going to go anywhere. You know, the owners threw that war-based pay thing on the table, which was garbage. I mean, the players are basically taking the same approach that they took when we were negotiating that COVID season, in which the owners would send out a proposal and they would go, "No, this doesn't work," and yeah, we're not really going to send a counter. So, we're just not getting anywhere. So the lockout is coming, not a surprise. We already knew that. And while it's December, I don't think we're going to get anything real concrete as far as negotiation wise until probably late January, early February.
Yeah, I was thinking probably mid February at the latest is where we were actually going to start seeing some headway. So until then, I really don't care. Like they can throw deals back and forth. It's not going to get serious until it's starting for the ramp up of the new season. So, I mean, until then, we're us all of us as fans are just going to twiddle our thumbs and wait and see what comes out of it.
Yeah. I was going to say I certainly have nothing to look forward to, as we'll switch to my thing. Now, before I dive into this, I want to ask you a question because you're in a, I don't want to say a similar situation, but you have a situation that could play out similar. So you are a Twins fan for those people who don't pay attention.
Yeah.
And you have a man in center field who doesn't like to play very often.
No. He doesn't like to play at all as far as I'm concerned.
So at the trade deadline last year and now this offseason, he has been at the front of rumors as far as being traded. I believe this is his last year before free agency.
Mm-hmm.
The Twins have tried to lock him up. It's been floated out like 5 for 75, well below what he could probably get on the open market despite all his flaws, but nevertheless. So my question to you is, if you traded Buxton and Buxton goes out and plays 150 games this year and it shows all the things that potentially is locked in there and just hasn't come out because he can't stay healthy. And then we get to next offseason and Buxton goes, I want to come back. Would you, because of 1 year and a different situation, believe that Buxton has suddenly uncovered everything that you always thought, well, maybe not you, but the organization thought was always locked in there, and then would welcome him back with open arms?
So you're asking me as if I'm the organization under those circumstances, would I want him back?
Organizationally and as a fan.
As a fan, no. I'm
Okay.
not gonna want him back, because he's gonna just do it for the price tag. And for me, having had him with this team, since he joined the major leagues, never having seen him play a full season and only show flashes of greatness in the times when he was playing, I don't want him to come back to the team if he does if he plays 150 games and puts up like Mike Trout level numbers. I'm going to try and get anything I can out of him. Like I'm going to try and use that potentially halfway through or right before the trade deadline and get something.
You're missing my point. This 150 Trout level would be elsewhere.
Oh, would I want to bring him back if he did it elsewhere?
Would you bring him back?
No. God, no. Because he wouldn't do that for us. Absolutely not.
Okay, so this is what I'm getting at. So let's circle this back a little bit before we get to what's happened today.
Yeah.
Steven Matz was a pitcher the Mets drafted. When he came up, he looked real good. Then he was so and just never really showed the flashes of what they thought he could be potentially. And they eventually traded him last year to Toronto. For Toronto last year, he wasn't, Cy Young. That was he had Cy Young in his rotation, but he had a very good year, very solid year.
Mm-hmm.
So the Mets, who basically have a neon sign blinking outside of Citi Field that says starting pitchers welcomed, said they were open to bringing back Steven Matz based off of what they saw in Toronto. Okay, now let's stop it there, because before we move on, that's why I asked you the Buxton question, because I, like you, I don't care what he did in Toronto. We saw what he did here. Okay? Do you ever think, and New York is always the bigger version of this. Okay, there's always some people just can't handle New York. That's always out there. So did we ever think that maybe Matz, who is a Long Island guy, so pitching in his, hometown, so to speak, maybe that was a little too much for him and he was more at ease in Toronto, which allowed him to pitch better? But instead you want to bring him back into that and expect the results that weren't good in the beginning to suddenly become better? No, didn't want it. Okay, like, if for some reason they got him, dirt cheap or something, all right, to be, a back end 4 or 5 guy, fine. But no. So we get to yesterday where it's reported the Mets have an offer for Matson. Matz is also talking to numerous other clubs, blah, 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 blah. Then late last night, it comes down. He has signed a 4-year, $44 million deal with the Cardinals. Okay? So here were the two things that I thought of immediately when I saw that. Number one, 444, you can have them. Don't want them for that. Number two, totally use the Mets to get that. Okay? The talk before he signed was he had 1 2-year offer on the table. And now all of a sudden he signed for 4? That's called leverage. All right? Fine. Whatever. Like I said, for 444, I don't want him anyway. Wasn't exactly banging on the door to get him to begin with. But then my infant child of an owner has to grab his phone this morning and go on a tirade about how he's never seen something so unprofessional, blah, 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 with Matt's agent, yada, yada, yada. Matt's agent, of course, says he doesn't want to comment, and then 5 minutes later comments, because that's what they do. But for the love of God, can we not see the cycle that's going on here? Every time he goes to Twitter, he's making this worse. Making this worse. Like, could you scream desperation anymore? Agents are salivating at the idea of getting Billy Epler on the phone because they go, I've got a guy who can throw a baseball. How much you want to give me? Because God knows you need it.
With Steve Cohen, nothing really surprises me at this point. But I mean, if I'm Steven Matz in this whole situation, like he made out like a bandit. He performed really well in Toronto. He used the Mets wanting him to come back and the rumor mill with him and the Mets as the leverage that he needed. Cohen's going to be mad because a supposed deal he thought he had, he got hoodwinked. He got honeydicked. That's what happens. So I'm not mad at how that situation goes. If I'm a ball player and I see Steve Cohen going off the way that Cohen's going off, I want nothing to do with the Mets. And you can see by the players that are just not wanting to return and leaving at will as evidence.
See, this is he doesn't notice the cycle, which he is now making worse. Okay? You had Syndergaard, who at the end of the year said he'd be grateful if he got the qualifying offer. He got the qualifying offer. And then he left for $3 million more to go to the Angels. Mm-hmm. Okay? Then you had Matz, who, by all accounts, wanted to come back, according to his agent. Right? Apparently, Matz and Cohen had a Zoom meeting Saturday discussing him coming back. And then apparently at the last minute had a change of heart. First of all, you're asking guys to come to a team that doesn't even have a manager. They don't know who they're playing for. Mm-hmm. And then, anytime something goes wrong, their 5-year-old owner is going to go to Twitter and throw a tirade? Yes, please let me sign up for that. Dude, Steve, just go play with art or whatever, or stocks or whatever you want to go play with. Let the baseball people just sign the checks. Sign the checks. That's what you said in Epler's thing, right? I'm he knows what he needs to do. I know that I'm going to have to throw money. I'm here to sign the check. Sign the fucking checks and shut up. Jesus Christ.
Apparently Cohen doesn't follow through, as if we were shocked by that anyway.
It is amazing that we are now roughly 2 years removed from the sale of this team. And I went from the Wilpon mess, which I didn't think could get any worse. And Cohen is doing his best to make it equal.
Let me ask you this, though. So 2 years ago when Cohen bought the team, do you think that it would have been any better if Derek Jeter and his group had bought the Mets over Cohen?
No. Here's the thing about Jeter, okay? And I don't know if he's in here, but there's a Jeter lover in here. So let's be just perfectly clear about Jeter and the Marlins. Jeter and that group bought the Marlins on IOUs. They don't have that money. They never had that money. That's why the first thing they did when they went to the Marlins was completely tear down that infrastructure. All right, they fired everybody and anybody. Like anybody who had any baseball IQ in that building that made some money, they were like, you need to go. You need to go. You're too smart for us. And you make money. Get the hell out of here. It's just not going to work for us. Okay, we want like the guy who just graduated Yale that'll, work for $5.
I said Jeter. I meant A-Rod. Just wanted to make sure.
A-Rod. A-Rod.
Yeah.
Did you see? Oh God, you're really trying to get me revved up right now. Did you see when he was going through the ideas that he had for if he had become owner of the Mets? It was going to be a fucking reality show. He was going to have cameras in the fucking locker room following the players around and all. He's a dope. He's a dope. No, I don't want to be my fucking owner. You got enough. He's going to ruin your fucking basketball team as if they couldn't be any fucking worse.
I was going to say, it doesn't get any worse, so why not? Like, okay. Maybe he'll move them out of the state, and then it's somebody else's problem.
I was like, let him screw your baseball. I don't want him anywhere near my baseball team. I don't want him anywhere near baseball. Bad enough ESPN still employs this fucking ass.
I mean, he was a successful hitter at one point, so ESPN seems like a place that could use 1/10 of the things that he says. So that's a good hire for them. I think that's a good spot for him. But
A-Rod lost J-Lo to Affleck.
Yeah. They dated before, though, so not really a surprise.
No. Okay? If you have her, you can't lose her. And you certainly can't lose her to Affleck.
No, he lost her to Batman. You ever seen Alex Rodriguez play Batman?
He didn't even keep the suit. He wouldn't pay $10K to keep the suit.
No, I wouldn't pay $10K. You know how expensive J-Lo is? Can't afford $10K for a bat suit.
Dude, I would buy the bat suit and make sure she did me with the suit on.
Yeah, no, that's fair. All right. No, you got a point.
Every penny of the $10K.
It would be. It's true. But yeah, besides that fact, like your team's just not really in a. There's no real winning situation right now until you guys have a manager and maybe pull like a Donald Trump thing on Twitter where Cohen's just not allowed to tweet anymore.
No. Here. You know what Cohen needs to do, right? If Cohen's really just going to throw money, right? If you, right? The desperation thing is out there, right? We're not hiding it, okay? Right? Again, the neon site says all arms that can throw a baseball are welcomed. Blah 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 blah. Okay. He wants some goodwill. He wants some positive press. He wants to put a spin on this. Here's what you do. Okay? We all remember. All right, well, let's go movie reference here. Okay? We all saw Hot Tub Time Machine. We all know about the Great White Buffalo.
Oh, yes. All right.
Okay? Steve Cohen needs to go get his Great White Buffalo. You throw, I don't care if it's $40 million a year. Go get Max Scherzer. Because if you have a healthy 1-2 of DeGrom and Scherzer at the top of that rotation, now all of a sudden your 3-4-5 doesn't have to be elite.
Yeah, okay.
And with the question marks that you have around Jacob DeGrom, health-wise, it's nice to have a backup in a multiple Cy Young winner like Max Scherzer. And like I said, if you're going to pay desperation prices and throw money, then go for the top head. Go for the top guy. Throw an insane amount of money. I don't care. What do you want to do? 3-120? 3-150? I don't care. Shit, you're paying Bobby Bonilla for 37 years.
You can afford to pay Max Scherzer a little bit, yeah.
Great White Buffalo. Get it done.
He's basically the only high profile pitcher left out there right now. Yeah.
Well, you still have our Cy Young winner, Robbie Ray,
Oh
is
yeah,
out
Robbie
there.
Ray. Yeah, yeah.
Kevin Gossman is out there. There's Stroman is still out there. I mean, there's still top heavy arms out there.
Do you legitimately think that you have a chance at getting any of those three?
Here's the thing. Well, they're not going to get Ray because Ray has the qualifying offer attached, and they've said they're not going with anybody who's got the qualifying offer attached because they don't want to give up the 14th pick. So Ray's off the table. So you're looking at the Scherzer, Stroman, Gossman group. And again, money talks. You want to overpay? Then overpay. You want somebody to come to a situation that maybe they don't want to come to? Then overpay. Because guess what? If you're going to offer them a year or two more or 20 million more than somebody else, they'll end up coming unless they really just don't want to be here. And then, that's fine. But I think that money outweighs people's desire to just not come.
Yeah. But I guess it's how much would you be willing to pay most of these guys? Like, you could definitely throw big money at a Scherzer or a Stroman, but is it going to be enough compared to what other teams might offer? You don't have to worry about the Twins making any big offers because that's just completely beyond them at this point.
Their biggest concern right now is that they are the number one team used as leverage in all negotiations. So let's say they went to Stroman today and they said, we'll give you 125. Okay? And that might be the best offer Stroman's got on the table. Stroman's going to go shop that. And maybe he gets 130 or or whatever. Okay? He's only going to shop it to get it higher. And then he's either going to take the slightly higher or he goes back to the Mets to draw that up again. The Mets are not the end. The Mets are the beginning. That's the problem. You don't go to the Mets to get the biggest offer last. You go to the Mets to get the biggest offer first and then see how much higher you can get it. That's their problem. And that's the vicious cycle that they're on. And that's the that I'm dealing with.
Yeah, and it sucks, man. I don't honestly know. Like, neither one of us has a great baseball team right now. I haven't had one for a very long time. But just looking at all of the things that are going wrong with your team right now, like, I don't feel as bad as a Twins fan. It's like, oh, my team sucks, and the worst thing I have to worry about is whether or not I'm going to end up shelling out big money for Byron Buxton, who's going to do nothing. So do I have it really that bad? No. I wish we'd get some wins. Some wins would be nice, but, like, do I really have it that bad? No, not really.
All right, let's move on because that's just going to make me.
Do you want to hit your last Mets related topic first before we go into Wander?
Well, I mean, this is somewhat Mets related, but former Met pitcher Noah Syndergaard, now an Angel pitcher, whose Twitter background is the Rally Monkey, so I'll give him a little credit there. Yeah. He apparently has taken issue with Carlos Correa, current free agent, formerly of the trash can banging Astros. Correa had comments last week, I guess it was, and basically saying that Derek Jeter didn't deserve the Gold Gloves that he got. All right, and maybe that's not the exact quote, I'm paraphrasing, but that's the idea.
That's the synopsis, yeah.
Yeah, Syndergaard obviously took issue to this for whatever reason, and said that he'd like to throw at Correa, similar to what he did to Alcides Escobar in Game 3 of the 2016 World Series.
Well, he said he wanted to strike him out. He never said he wanted to throw at him.
Oh, I saw he wanted to throw at him.
No, so the question was asked, like, is there anybody that you like? If you had the opportunity to strike out anybody, who would it be? And he said Carlos Correa but he's like, beyond the obvious reasons, he's like, it's because of what he said about Jeter.
Okay. I don't know what Syndergaard's, appeal with Jeter is and why he's taking offense to this. But I'm going to get a spoiler here. Correa's right. Derek Jeter didn't deserve all those gold gloves. Derek Jeter was a, how do I want to put this? Slightly above average shortstop fielding wise. Okay. The patented, across the body jump that everybody knows Jeter for. He did that all the time. He made routine plays harder than they needed to be. He got gold gloves because he was a Yankee, not because he was a great defensive shortstop. I mean, come on. Jeter came up with, the A-Rods and the Miguel Tejadas and the Nomars. They were all better defensively. All of them. Even Tejada, who wasn't great.
Yeah.
So I had no issue. Correa was just telling the truth. I had no issue with what Correa said. I mean, I don't know why Correa felt the need to say it. I don't know what brought it up. But
yeah, I mean, maybe just like somebody may have tried to compare like his accomplishments to Jeter or something like that, and then he takes offense. Like, I don't know. One could argue Correa hasn't earned a lot of things that he's got because he was on a team full of cheaters, and we don't know the extent of what he did. So does that make me a bad guy for saying it? Does Carlos Correa want to hit me now? Like, it's all. I don't know how fickle these guys are, but it's dumb.
Correa just seems to come with the Griffey quote. Okay, if the Yankees are the last team to offer me a contract, no. Just tell me that we're good.
Pretty much.
All right, you don't have to take a shot at Jeter.
To be honest, though, I mean, I hate the Yankees. I hate them with a passion because they're the reason why the Twins can't make it past the first round in the playoffs ever.
They are your
Achilles heel. Yeah, but I'm just saying, if I was a professional baseball player, having the feelings that I have about the Yankees, and the only two contracts I have are the Yankees or the Twins, I'm probably taking the Yankees over the Twins. Like, to be totally honest with you.
Well, it goes back to how deep is your distaste for a place.
Not as strong as my need for money.
Well, yeah,
So, yeah, I suppose if he thinks that he can get the same money that he would get in New York elsewhere, I would absolutely go elsewhere. But if I also want to win, I'm going to go to a team that's going to win.
Well, the only thing that I can say for certain is that, we've got a week left here before signings come to a halt. No player signings can happen during the lockout. Mm-hmm. Correa will not sign in this next week. There is a strong possibility you'll get two shortstops that sign this week in Corey Seager, who likely goes back to the Dodgers, and Javi Baez will probably sign this week as well. Possibly comes back to the Mets. I'm not in love with that. He's got other teams. I think the Tigers are involved if you want to go that route, but whatever.
Yeah, I heard the Tigers were looking at him pretty hard, which, okay. That team's not great, but sure.
Here's the thing. The Tigers, much like our boy Carl's Royals, are a team on the come up. Tigers did a lot of good things last year. The big thing that they're doing is a lot of teams like to kind of, when they have their top prospects, like they'll bring one up here and then they'll bring one up there. Like, I was a big proponent during that COVID season, that 60, like, just throw them out there. Throw them out. If you're a team that you just throw them out there. Let them soak it up, see what you got, blah, blah, blah. And that's what the Tigers kind of did last year in the full year, is they got to a point and then all of a sudden it was like, let's get all the boys up, for the most part. So Tigers coming up, they've got a first baseman who I think will be legit once he comes up as well. So, that pitching staff is young and coming in their own. Mize, who was a former number one pick, started to really show promise last year. They got Tarek Skubal and some other guys. So, yeah, I'm not poo-pooing on the Tigers. I think the Tigers are at the point now where they have their what they feel is their young core, and now they want to sprinkle some veterans in there. Not sure that Javi Baez would be the guy that I'd be looking at, but I get the idea.
Yeah, I mean, you can put Javi Baez out there. Maybe you get one or two more good years out of Miggy. You know, like
Oh, are we really calling the years you get out of Miggy at this point good?
I mean, the guy's been consistent his whole career, so his down year is better than most people's good years. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not even. I gotta look. I'm not sure what the Miggy situation is. I don't know if Miggy has any. Like, I don't know if Miggy's a free agent. If he's got any time left on that deal.
I think he has at least one more.
I think you're. You know what? You're right. I think he's got one more. Pujols was the guy that was done.
Pujols is done. Yeah, he's in need of a new deal. Miggy's got at least one more year, maybe two.
Yeah, Miggy's our. Miggy's hanging on there at the end. There you go. See, look at this. All right, the feel-good team that's fun to watch these days. When you look up,
so he's next year he's getting $32 million. Miggy is.
Good God.
He's actually got 4 years left on his deal.
What?
He signed through 2025.
Oh my God.
$32 million next year, $32 million in 2023, $30 million in 24, and $30 million in 25. So he's got 4 years left.
There's no way. No.
He probably gets released before then or traded.
Or they beg him to just retire.
Yeah, they could do that too. But yeah, he's got a contract through 2025, so we'll see.
Or as the chat suggests, he could have a coronary before he finishes the contract.
He's not Bartolo Colon.
Whoa, hey.
Yeah, I had to throw that out there.
Bartolo is ripping it down there in the Dominican, don't you sass.
Oh, yeah, playing adult softball, hitting dingers. Guy's still crushing it. I swear to God, his last 3 seasons in the majors, I thought he was going to have a coronary and just fall over. Never did.
Dude, he was the modern-day Babe Ruth before Ohtani, okay? Let's not get that twisted.
I mean, more physically Babe Ruth than Ohtani, sure.
Yeah, so like I said, I think you'll get Seager and Baez before the week is up. I think you'll get a couple of more pitchers before the week is up. Pitchers have been going quick. So I think we'll get, a little bit more before we go into the lockdown.
Yeah. I'm expecting another wave Monday or, maybe on Friday after Thanksgiving, maybe a couple over the weekend, but not too much after that.
All right. So let's get to the Wander Franco deal.
Yep.
The Rays shell out the big money, with all the options and whatnot in there, it can come out to 12 years, over $200 million. But so 2 things about this. All right. The most important thing to point out is that there is no trade clause in this.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you look at the Rays track record, all right, I'm sure they're not paying this out evenly. Mm-hmm. However, the average of this deal is upwards of about $18-19 million if you average it out.
Per year?
Which well beyond Rays payroll management. Just ask Blake Snell. So the first question I have is, right, this is a 12-year deal. It pays Franco out until he's 31, I believe. Mm-hmm. What are the chances the Rays keep him that long?
Slim.
I get that, he's the Uber prospect. You pay him early ahead of time. It saves you money. But this is what, teams do, especially high market. Not what the Rays do. And the Rays don't pay anybody real money. So I'm really what, it's just more appealing down the road when you trade him? Is that like, hey, I've got him locked in at what's a reasonable number compared to what you would pay him on the open market? Like, I'm missing it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just maybe trying to salvage money to get other players elsewhere, like only paying him. It's 11 years, 182 million with a $25 million payout for his 12th season if he makes it like 12 years. So the last year is optional. But yeah, you're talking about just under like 17 mil a year pretty much. And that's unbelievably low for somebody to sign for that long.
I'm
Like
glad.
Oh, go
glad
ahead.
you said that because we're going to go somewhere in a second.
Yeah. Well, I have a feeling I know where we're going because I remember guys like Robbie Cano getting 250 million for 10 years.
Yeah,
But
well, I would say we're going the complete opposite of that, but okay.
yeah, but I mean, like we've seen guys get paid a lot more for right around the same period. Now, granted, Wander Franco hasn't shown to be like a Mike Trout or anything like that, but it's interesting that's how much it is. It's an interesting price point. I don't know, maybe they could keep him at that price point for longer. Maybe keep him into that back half of that contract before you trade him. But I definitely don't see him lasting 12 seasons in Tampa Bay.
My point is like if he gets, he's 20 now.
Yeah, he's 20. Yep.
So like the way I look at it is, right, and for all we will equate the option in there and we'll call it a 12-year deal. You got to keep him for at least half. If you trade him in the front half of that deal, you're done. Nobody trusts you ever again. Like we'll just assume anybody you have is gone at some point. I mean, I already assumed that anyway, but that'll officially put the stamp on it. So here's where I was going to go, and this is the second part about the Franco deal.
Yeah.
Okay. You brought up the Cano deal, which is just an albatross, which is now my albatross, and I'm not going down that road. I want to go to a similar situation because, like you said, Franco hasn't shown you. Franco's only had a half season so far. He hasn't, and while it was a good half season, got him third in the Rookie of the Year voting. When nobody's labeling him, as you put it, the next Mike Trout. Would you say that Ronald Acuna has shown you some top, best player in the league things?
Some, yeah, absolutely. I don't consider him the best player in the league, but he's definitely.
I'm not asking you if you consider. I'm just saying he's shown.
He's top tier. Yeah,
I would say shown you that ability. Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Because he got an 8-year deal, didn't he?
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that because when Acuna was 21, okay, so we're looking at about the same age range as Franco is, a year older.
Yeah.
He signed an 8-year deal. Okay, now it's an option that can stretch out to a 10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but let's just look at it. Okay, so Franco's was 11 for 188, right, somewhere in that
182.
area. 182.
Yep.
Okay. Ronald Acuna signed an 8-year deal, right? This is before the option, for $100 million.
Mm-hmm.
The option stretches it to a 10-year, which blows it up to the major amount of 124.
Yeah.
Okay. They did the similar thing with Ozzy Albies, which, if you look at Albies lately, maybe not the worst thing in the world, but same thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Where both guys signed early. All right. And this isn't Fernando Tatis who signed early and got uber money.
Right.
Okay. These are guys who got underpaid, and with Acuna especially, at Albies there was a little bit of back and forth, but with Acuna especially, it was viewed as a massive underpay. Mm-hmm. A massive underpay.
Yeah.
But here's why I want to tell you, okay, and I know he's not in here because he's never in here, okay, and I might have to clip this audio and send it to him. Here's why I want to tell you why the Braves, who are fresh off of a World Series, mind you, are Giants pieces of shit. You underpaid Acuna. You underpaid Albies. You're coming off a World Series in which, before we get to the concessions and the merchandise and the parking and blah, 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 just going off of all the things that you get from the postseason and winning the World Series and your TV deals and everything else, they made upwards of almost $500 million before we get to anything that actually happened in the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And Freddie Freeman is out there dangling in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
Are you fucking kidding me? Okay? And for the people in the chat, let's circle this back because I know everybody wants to wave their flags and say that they were right. So let's get to this too. Bryce Harper won MVP. Congratulations. It's wrong. It's wrong. Because guess what? If I take Bryce Harper off the Phillies, you know what happens? The same thing that happened with Bryce Harper on the Phillies. They don't make the fucking playoffs. So how valuable was he? Okay? Tell me where the Braves are without Freddie Freeman after they lost Ronald Acuna. Tell me where the Reds are without Joey Votto. Both of them are ahead of Bryce Harper. So I don't care that the writers voted. Writers are stupid. We've made that abundantly clear plenty of times. All right, so I don't give me that. But so you underpay all your young talent. You made all this money coming off a World Series, and the best player on your team is dangling out there. How's it going to feel if he ends up in pinstripes?
They kind of have to live with it. As a fan, it'll probably suck.
It's bullshit. There's no reason why they shouldn't get Freeman in there. Okay, even if you have to overpay, okay, and we'll put that in quotations. Okay, great. Call it severance for the underpaying that you already did. He is the face of the franchise.
Yeah, but okay. So I'm gonna try and bring this full circle because this is how I feel about it. At the beginning of the show, we talked about Steven Matz and how Steve Cohen got hoodwinked by Matz's agent, and how he worked out a better deal and he got more money. You know, he got a 4-year deal when the rumors were saying 1 to 2-year deal or 2-year deal. So guys like Robert Acuna, guys like Albies, I don't blame the Braves organization for what they did. If Acuna wanted to sign an 8-year deal for $100 million, that's on him.
Okay, you're right. I don't blame them because that's shitty agents and bad decision making. It's no different than if I go to a flea market or whatever, and I find something that's worth 10 G's and the person wants to sell it for $5. Okay, yeah. I'm not offering that up. So that part I get. That's not where my ill will comes in.
I mean, if you're just mad about letting Freddie Freeman sit out there and dangle, like, you also have to trust yourself as an organization to know that, like, you got a lot out of Freddie Freeman and you got a World Series out of it. If you bring him back and you sign him to a bigger deal now, are you going to get that same kind of production out of him? Or is it almost better for you to move on at this point and let him go make his money and underperform for somebody else now that you've got the best years out of him?
I don't see how. Listen, if Freeman goes and signs for 6-7 years with the Yankees, okay, fine. All right, like, that's outrageous, whatever. But if you can sign Freeman to a 3-4 year deal, maybe even a 5-year deal where you make it with options on the last year or the last 2 years. Again, is it an overpayment? Probably. But at this point, again, he's the face of the franchise. You owe it to that. And what about Freeman makes you think there's going to be a dip?
No, you don't owe him anything as the face of the franchise. Okay?
No, not him. Not him.
Because, okay, like, you can pay Freddie Freeman, and who's to say that there's not going to be a dip? I mean, I overpaid the shit out of Joe Mauer because he
Wow.
was the face of my franchise, and he took a huge dip.
Goat.
Not the same position, not the same type of
I
player.
was going to say Freddie Freeman doesn't have about 15 concussions attached to his head.
Yes, I'm aware. However,
Bad knees.
or
back.
bad knees. I'm just saying Joe Mauer played first base, so
Hits the ball with a wet newspaper.
he does a lot of things. Welcome to the show, Chico. Happy to have you here.
Hey, I'm a big Joe Mauer fan, but there's a lot of reasons that
I'm a big Joe Mauer fan too. He went to the most pretentious private school in the state of Minnesota. It's awesome. Happy
The one
to have
Gordon
him play
Bombay
for my
went
team.
to.
No, different one. One of these days we're gonna talk about that on the other show. We're gonna talk about why Gordon Bombay is not in the new Mighty Ducks season, and I'm still pissed about it. So
Yeah,
we'll talk about that. That's a different show, different day.
Chico is here just in time though to dive into our Hall of Fame discussion.
Ah, yes.
Let everybody in.
I was going to say for the people that apparently aren't here who wanted this discussion, we're going to do it anyway. So last year, do either of you know how many people got inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame?
At least one.
4.
You're both wrong.
Damn.
Nobody?
Nobody.
What?
Nobody got it last year. The closest guy to getting in last year was Curt Schilling. He missed by 16 votes. I have stated the fact that I believe Curt Schilling, if you just look at Schilling on the field and take away all the other BS, Curt Schilling deserves to be a Hall of Famer. Okay? We have racist and bigotrous and all kinds of other garbage in that Hall of Fame that Curt Schilling is not going to be a black eye on the Hall of Fame if he were to get in. However, the writers are stubborn, egotistical pricks. Schilling missed by 16 votes last year. Schilling then went on a rant afterwards, basically saying that he wanted to be, he did not want to participate in the voting this year, basically trying to take himself off the ballot, which he's not allowed to do. He'll be on the ballot. But his outspokenness, along with his other, off-the-wall comments, will more than likely not allow him to get the votes that anybody else, being 16 short, would be a shoo-in to get in this year. I don't think he will. I don't know that either of you disagree with me, but that's my stance on Schilling.
I was going to say, it would be interesting to get Chico's take since he won a World Series with Arizona.
He did win one with Arizona. I don't see why he's not in. He did enough for the Diamondbacks and the Red Sox organization for winning rings at least and pitching. I know that it's come out that the bloody sock incident was fake. It wasn't real now. But there's no reason he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. There's a lot of guys that are in there that have questionable backgrounds earlier, but I'm a big fan of him. Some things he says, but that's with everybody.
Looking at the list from... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say Chico left out the Phillies too. He did make a World Series with the Phillies. Joe Carter.
That's true. Yep. So
Adrian loves Carter.
Adrian's not here, so I don't give two shits about who he likes.
I was like, I already brought up Adrian's bitch ass.
Yeah, we talked about his stuff already. Looking at the list though from last year, and guys who have been on the ballot multiple times now, there's a couple names on here that I think should get in.
There's guys that definitely should get in. There are guys that are trending to get in, maybe not necessarily this year, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm biased, but I'm going to say Torrey Hunter should get in eventually. He's a second-year ballot guy, so Like, I don't expect him to get in right away, but like I expect him to get in.
Here's my thing with Torrey Hunter. Okay, and again you're biased, and I
I'm
get
biased.
it. So I'll take the outsider approach. Torrey Hunter is Andrew Jones with less offensive numbers. So if you want to argue who the better center fielder is, go ahead. I think it's Jones by a slight margin.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get a slightly better defensive outfielder with better offensive numbers who can't get in. And you're going to tell me that Torrey Hunter should get in.
No, I think they should both get in, to be honest with you. I don't have a problem with Andrew Jones getting in.
I'm more of a proponent for Andrew Jones getting in because I think Andrew Jones for about a decade was about as locked down center field as you could possibly get. I mean, he had range that we've never seen and made catches look easy that shouldn't have been.
Andrew Jones ever robbed Barry Bonds of a home run in an All-Star game?
No.
Nope. Nope, sure didn't.
But I don't think that Jones will ever get even remotely close to the amount of votes that would be required again. And so I don't think Torrey Hunter would either. I don't know who else you wanted to bring up. Another guy who was
How was Jeff Kent not in?
Jeff Kent was one that I was looking at. Jeff Kent, San Francisco Giants.
Jeff
I didn't know he was still on there.
Jeff Kent is a Kurt Schilling situation. Jeff Kent was a prick to writers his whole career. He's an asshole. And despite the fact that he is the greatest offensive second baseman in history, he's not gonna get in because he's a dick. Here, let me answer this one.
AJ Przinsky never gets in.
Punch AJ.
Somebody asked about Gary Sheffield. Here's the thing about Gary Sheffield. If this was 20 years ago, Gary Sheffield would be a lock for the Hall of Fame because he's got 500 home runs, and that used to be a magic number. 500 home runs means nothing anymore. So you look at the fact that it took Sheffield like 20 years almost to get to 500 home runs. He was a great power hitter, but he was never a dominant force.
292 all or career batting.
Listen, I'm a proponent for Sheffield getting in the Hall of Fame because I'm one of these guys who believes that 500 is still a sacred number for guys that got to it the right way, which I think Sheffield did. There was never really a huge cloud of PED around Sheffield. So I think Chef should be in. I just don't think, with the group of guys that come on these ballots now, I think Sheffield kind of falls in the forgotten pile.
That's fair.
Who else you want to throw at me?
Todd
I
Helton.
didn't even know Carl Crawford was on here.
This is Todd Helton's first year on the ballot, I believe, or second year? Second year?
No, fourth year.
Fourth year. Oh, hold on. I got to scroll. Maybe I'm missing.
Oh, I was looking at Tip Hudson.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, there's Todd Helton. Yeah, I saw Tip Hudson. My bad.
Yeah. So Helton jumped.
This guy had 316.
Helton jumped to 44.9% last year. That was after having 29.2 in 2020. So about a little over 15% jump. The question with Todd Helton, which is the question much with what Dante Bichette dealt with, and it's Coors Field. What is the Coors Field effect on Todd Helton? Todd Helton was an above-average defender. He hit for average, which helped. He wasn't a great power hitter. So I think Todd Helton is the truest Coors Field effect case that we have. Similar to Todd Helton, is a guy who, again, I think should be in and is at least trending. Both Helton and the guy I'm about to talk about are at least trending toward getting in. We'll see what kind of jump they make this year. Is Scott Rowland. Rowland had a 17.6% percent increase from 2020 to 2021. He was just shy of 53% last year after having 35% in 2020. Scott Rowland was the premier third baseman for a while in Philly. Then he went to St. Louis. He's not gonna. He doesn't have any of the big numbers. He's not a 500 home run guy or nothing like that. But I mean, Philly fans thought of him as the second coming of he was, again, I would argue he was the best third baseman in the National League, maybe in the majors for a decade. So I certainly think he should be in the Hall of Fame. Here we go. I got another one from the chat. Okay. I'll be a little biased here.
Billy Wagner.
No, not Bobby Wagner.
His brother.
Billy Wagner obviously spent a small portion of his career with the Mets. He was part of that bullpen during the collapses, which I don't want to talk about. But Billy Wagner should be in the Hall of Fame. Here's why Billy Wagner will have problems getting in the Hall of Fame. He's not Mariano Rivera. He's not Trevor Hoffman. He didn't have, 800 saves and in Rivera's case, all this postseason accolades to go with it. Remember, we had Lee Smith, who for the longest time led baseball in saves and wasn't in the Hall of Fame. So it's hard when you have guys like Wagner or guys that are coming on the ballot this year, like in Josh's case, Joe Nathan, or Jonathan Papelbon, who were good closers all on their own, but Hall of Fame worthy closers have a very difficult road. So it'll be interesting to see how Wagner trends.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up too. Like Joe Nathan, Jonathan Papelbon, both first timers, first ballot guys this year. It's hard. Like we talked about Papelbon once before. Joe Nathan, another exceptional relief pitcher, but like not having the Mariano Rivera numbers does make it more difficult, as we've talked about. But I honestly could see all three of those guys getting in eventually. It's just going to take
the biggest thing for a Nathan and a Papelbon with being their first year on the ballot is just get the 5% and stay on. That's the biggest thing. Is you just got to survive. Obviously you're not going to be a first ballot, and obviously because of your position, it's going to be harder to answer the question in the chat. It was not Papelbon who had cancer; it was John Lester. But knowing the position and knowing the difficulty with getting in the Hall of Fame and all that, you just got to survive the first year, stay on the ballot, and then you can kind of boost yourself up. All right.
What about Big Tim Lincecum?
Big time Timmy Jim?
Yeah, we talked about Lincecum before. Lincecum is a lot like – it's funny. We have, as far as guys that are coming on the ballot for the first time this year, we have 5 guys who won MVPs and 2 guys who won Cy Youngs. Lincecum and Jake Peavy are the Cy Young winners. And then the MVP guys are A-Rod, obviously, Prince Fielder, who we talked about, along with Ryan Howard, Jimmy Rollins, and Josh's friend Justin Morneau. So
get Bobby Abreu off this list, god damn it.
The problem with Lincecum is the fact that his arc was small. I think when we looked it over, it was like 5 or 6 years. He just doesn't have the length. He was as dominant as could be for that small period, but I don't know that period is going to be lengthy enough for writers to vote him in. So what
guys on here basically aren't going to get in are Schillings, Bonds, Clemens, Kent, Sosa, Andy Pennett's not getting in.
The Bonds and Clemens thing is interesting. They're around
Rodriguez, he's not getting in.
It'll be interesting. A-Rod will not get in. It'll be interesting to see what kind of vote he gets. Similar to Ortiz, I'm interested to see what he gets. One of the guys that I'm interested in that doesn't, not related to PEDs, first year on the ballot is Mark Teixeira. Teixeira, a Gold Glove, Silver Slugger for 14 years. Was one of the best first basemen for a while. Curious to see what kind of love he gets from writers.
So Sean's comment in the chat. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. My bad, Chico. My bad.
No, the same thing. When I seen the name, I was like, I know he's good, but I don't know. Is he Hall of Fame good? I mean, the ring in New York might help. Teixeira.
It might.
No, Teixeira was really good on the Rangers before he ever got to the Yankees.
Yeah, that's true.
In his one season with Atlanta?
That's a forgettable one.
Yeah.
I was like, him and of the guys that are on the ballot for the first year, him and Jimmy Rollins are the two that I'm most interested in following what kind of vote percentage they get. Oh, so you want to? Okay, so Josh, I assume you want to talk about this comment. Carl Crawford's not in the Hall of Fame.
Yep, that's exactly the comment. It's his first year. That's why.
Who do I got to talk to get these names off here?
You don't have to talk to anybody. You just wait till the vote's done, and then they'll go off because they won't get 5%.
Yeah.
I got to get a Hall of Fame vote somehow.
You got to play in the majors.
Those writers didn't play in the majors. I'm talking about I want to vote on this.
I was saying, that's not how you get a Hall of Fame vote.
Yeah. I thought you wanted to be in the Hall of Fame, not get a Hall of Fame vote. So
that was good.
I'll be in the Hall of Fame regardless.
Anyway, so let's respond to this comment.
Yeah, so I couldn't agree more with Sean on this comment. Like, if A-Rod gets in, you have to let in Bonds, you have to let in Schilling, you have to let in Clemens, Sosa. You have to get all of those guys in at that point, because A-Rod, in a lot of ways, I mean, exposed the scandal for what it is, and he was a main perpetrator behind a lot of these guys like Manny Ramirez and stuff. So I think that in a most just world, he gets the 5% and stays on there forever like the rest of them, but never gets in.
A-Rod will get the 5%. I would say the 5% is not a question. He'll get 5%.
Yeah, he's going to get that.
Here's my response to Sean. A-Rod's not the guy he should be looking to, because A-Rod popped, was suspended, blah, 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 whereas Bonds and Clemens are guys that are suspected but nothing ever happened. Okay? The guy that Sean needs to look at is David Ortiz, because the thing with Ortiz is the only time Ortiz was ever brought up was when they had those anonymous tests that weren't supposed to be revealed, and then Ortiz's name came up. And then our guy, Rob Manfred, spent the last 2 years of David Ortiz's career basically saying how we shouldn't associate with that. It was anonymous. We're not even sure that those tests were legit, blah, 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 basically trying to cover Ortiz's ass. Okay? So you can put Ortiz in the same grouping as you can put Bonds and Clemens. Okay? And Ortiz has, while he doesn't have the historical significance as far as Bonds and Clemens, as far as awards, you can't tell any postseason story without David Ortiz. On the postseason alone, normally David Ortiz would get in the Hall of Fame. However, take the postseason away, and I'll tell you why David Ortiz is not a Hall of Famer. If I can find the damn thing now.
Because he was a DH?
Oh, yeah, well, they're going to say because he's a DH.
Well, it's not that he was DH. I mean, that's part of it. But, okay, so here we go. All right, his career WAR is 55.3. Edgar Martinez, who, similar to Ortiz, was a DH for most of his career, had a career WAR of 68.4, and it took him the full 10 years to get into the Hall of Fame. The only guy who is not a reliever that has a career WAR lower than David Ortiz to have been voted in the Hall of Fame is Jim Rice back in 2009. All right. David Ortiz was a great power hitter with a great postseason story. That's it. He was not a great player.
He hated playing first base, too.
I would hate playing first base too. That sucks.
He's just lucky he played in the American League. If he was in the National League, we wouldn't even be talking about him.
He'd be a right fielder. That's what he'd be.
I'm not.
You
Like,
see
I'm
how
not.
big that
I'm
man
not.
is?
I'm not. Like, it's
There's
not
no
going to
way.
shock me. It's not going to shock me if Ortiz gets in. I think the fact that Edgar gets in opens the door more for Ortiz to get in. But if you're Sean and you're somebody who is riding the Bonds deserves to be in thing, then you want Ortiz to get a good amount of votes. Because as far as I'm concerned, Ortiz being named in those anonymous tests, okay, right or wrong, is the same group, is essentially the same thing as what we do to Bonds and Clemens. All right, we assume. Okay, like we probably have more conviction in the Bonds and Clemens thing when we do the Ortiz, but it's still the same thing ultimately.
Yeah, but Ortiz is going to get in based on his playoff numbers. He's going to get in based on the way the media has always portrayed him. He's going to get in
because he's a nice guy. He's going to get in because for his Boston Marathon speech. He's going to get in for a bunch of things.
Yep.
Just don't put him in first ballot, please. I get that. Like that. That's ridiculous. He should not go in first ballot. I don't think he'll go in first ballot, but
I mean, I just know. I think they will too.
that would be
Just
awful.
to piss people off.
That would be awful.
What do you expect?
But-
the writers. Well, the guy didn't even give Jeter 100%.
Here's the. I'm glad you brought that up, Chico. Okay, because the only person that got 100% ever is Mariano Rivera. What kind of fucking joke is that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do
How
I
did Ken
need to
Griffey
go
not get
through the list?
100%?
Do I need to go through the list of people that are in the Hall of Fame that didn't get 100%?
That's a long
Willie
list.
Mays
We don't
didn't
have
get a
time for
fucking
that.
100%. Mickey
Hank
Mantle
Aaron-
didn't get
I mean-
100%. Hey, fucking Ruth didn't get 100%. Okay, if those guys didn't get 100%, nobody gets 100%. Let alone a fucking closer.
Jeter gets 100%.
No. Jeter gets 100%
captain.
for gift bags. That's about it.
Hey, those are probably free anyway, so yeah. He was a go on and off the field. Snatching up Alyssa Milano. Oh, yeah.
Giving her herpes.
Before she went
As long
crazy.
as you're a baseball player, you can snatch up Alyssa Milano.
And Cameron Diaz.
All the
and-
Dodgers did in one day. The Andre Ethier Dodgers, the good old days.
Yeah. Ooh, deep pull.
I was going to say, like, Chico, if you're a baseball player and you want to talk about the chicks you can get, Alyssa Milano's not the first one you want to throw out there.
That's why I threw out
He's just
Cameron
already
Diaz.
hanging outside the fucking clubhouse. You're like, fucking
Yeah.
go home. Don't
She
you
was
go
on
home?
charge. She was important for a while.
I was going to
She
say,
was.
she wanted to know who your boss was.
I see what you did there.
All right. Anybody else we want to discuss on this Hall of Fame ballot before we move on?
No.
Chico, you have anybody else you want to gripe about?
Just take off Bobby Abreu and I'm fine.
Bobby Abreu will be off. He will not get 5%. You're fine.
Justin Morneau for first round.
It's his third go
First round.
around. It's his third
Yeah.
time, and it shows he has 8.7.
There-
Trash.
There
Get
we
him
go.
out of here.
I think that's about as.
Why can I not remember
as
Joe
eloquent
Nathan?
as we're gonna get the Hall of Fame today.
The closer for the Twins.
For some reason, I keep picturing him in a Detroit's uniform.
Maybe he played for Detroit like after he left
Am I thinking of Kevin
Minnesota.
Costner?
That's highly possible. Nathan did go somewhere. Nathan
Wasn't that
did
Dennis
pitch
Quaid?
elsewhere after he had after Tommy John. I just don't remember if it was the Tigers or not. So
It might have
It was
been.
probably the Mets because that's who usually picks up the
definitely not the Mets.
Twins.
I was gonna say.
How'd Johan
I mean,
Santana work
you know,
out for you guys?
Oh yeah. Hope you
Uh,
enjoyed that Johan Santana time frame.
I got a no-hitter before he threw his arm off. So
That's cool.
Pedro
Did you get
Martinez.
Francisco Liriano too?
no, we did
I
not
thought you
have
guys got
Liriano.
I thought you got Liriano too.
No.
Maybe not.
Pirates.
Lindor.
Lindor.
Or no.
Anyways,
Chico's just throwing names out at this point.
yeah.
All right,
Anyways, continue.
let's move on.
Move on.
Let's talk about the college playoff. Oregon, we kept talking about Oregon and their likelihood to slip up and screw up, and well, we all thought it wouldn't be last week, but lo and behold, it was, as we all gave out Oregon last week, so that worked out real well. Although, I would like to state, okay, if you follow us on Twitter, 11-5 weekend, 6-2 on Sunday. I don't know how much better you want.
You went against my Alabama bet, and for that, you deserved a rough Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday. Saturday. Still went. We went 5-4 on Saturday. Still profitable.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, so the playoff currently looks like this. Georgia continues to be number 1. Ohio State has jumped your Alabama for 2, Bama at 3, and the chat's favorite orphan son, Cincinnati, is in it for 4.
Yeah, go Bearcats.
So obviously we have a elimination game essentially this week with Ohio State, Michigan. Whoever loses that will be out of the conversation, and then basically the winner will just have to survive the Big Ten title game. Georgia obviously is headed to a meeting with Alabama in the SEC championship. Even if they lost to Bama, I find it hard for them to drop out. So that leaves us with 2 spots potentially for opening in Bama and Cincinnati. Here's where I'm at, because there are 3 teams on the outside looking in with opportunities to jump in. Whoever wins the Big 12 between Oklahoma State. All right, if one of them is 12-1, they would be a viable option to jump in. However, if they both trip over each other, neither finishes at 12-1, that only leaves one option for a viable contender outside of the current 4. And we know who that is. And I'll tell you why it's not out of the question.
Why it's not out of the question for them to get into the playoff, or why it's not out of the question that they're going to get their asses kicked in the playoffs?
They're trash. They've been trash. They're going to continue being trash.
Yeah.
I was going to say, playoff history would state that they'll probably get their ass kicked, but it's not out of the question that they'll get in. Here's
Georgia
why.
is begging for them to get in right now.
Georgia's more afraid of the Bearcats than they are the team you're speaking of.
Yes.
So here's my thought process here. Josh, you have been at the forefront of saying that this is not your typical Alabama, and that you don't even feel good about the SEC championship game against Georgia.
Correct.
So what do you think, right? Obviously you don't think Bama wins the game.
No.
How badly do you think they lose?
By 14.
I have 14 or more. Yeah.
Okay.
2 to 3 touchdown game.
I'd say 14 or less. I think.
All right.
That defense
So,
is scary.
Let's just take 14 and go with that. Okay. The 14 or less leaves a 2-loss Alabama team as a hard conversation, but with their strength of schedule and whatnot, the committee probably finds a way to keep a 2-loss Alabama in the 4. Right? Cincy would, assuming Cincy doesn't trip and stays undefeated, Cincy would probably jump them and be 3, and Bama would be 4. But nevertheless, a 2-loss Bama still finds a way if they can hang with Georgia. However, if you get destroyed by Georgia, all right, if we're looking at I would say 20 or above, now it becomes very hard for them to put a 2-loss Alabama team in the 4. Because you've just got decimated by the number 1 team, and you obviously have 2 losses. Okay? So that would open up a spot. Here's the other thing. Cincinnati, for the first time last week, actually beat up on somebody. Something that they've been being asked to do because they've been surviving every week. All right, they've got East Carolina this week and then another game, neither of which should be difficult, but this is for the first time, a non-Power 5 team is staring down the barrel of making the playoff. And, we don't know what the pressure of that will do. So, be that. Something that is never, even when they've made the playoffs, something that they've never been able to do is beat up on lesser opponents. And that's something Notre Dame has done here down the stretch. They are winning and winning convincingly. And in the process of winning and winning convincingly, they are also hurting Cincinnati's strength of schedule because Cincinnati has played a lot of similar teams, and it's hurting Cincinnati when you've beaten whomever and maybe you won by 10, but Notre Dame, who you beat that same team by 28. What they're doing is they're trying to erase that head-to-head matchup. And they're trying to put in the committee's mind a bit of doubt that if Notre Dame and Cincinnati played today, if you would get the same outcome. So they still need a lot of things to happen to go their way. More importantly, the first thing they need is Oklahoma and Oklahoma State to both lose. If either of them are 12-1, they're going to get in ahead of Notre Dame. That's the biggest. But if all of a sudden they both fall, Notre Dame has a legit shot at finding the back door of getting in. And I'm sure it would be Josh, here's what I would like. I would like nothing more than to have a 4 of Georgia, Ohio State, because I don't think Ohio State's losing here down the stretch. You and me. Kick Cincy out.
Well,
okay.
I mean, you're still going to be out first round.
Here's the thing.
You're a terrible man.
If you tell me that Notre Dame has the ability to beat Georgia, you're lying.
No. They don't have the ability to beat Georgia. Okay.
They can't beat anyone in the top 4.
Whoa, calm down there, Sparky.
No, they could.
They definitely can't beat Michigan State.
But Michigan State. Is Michigan State even in the top 10?
Not anymore.
I'm just saying, you're 6, and you can't beat any of the teams in the top 25.
The problem is Notre Dame would probably be 4 in the playoff and get Georgia. Okay, that's the likely scenario, which is a no-win situation. However, if for some reason they got Ohio State or Alabama, okay, contrary to the Twilight Zone situation that I get put in every time they go to the playoff, I don't think it is far-fetched to believe that they could win either of those games.
I do.
They won't.
So here's my thought process with this. The Ohio State team that we kind of shit on at the beginning of the season is not the same Ohio State.
And then I told you to keep an eye on.
Yeah, you did. You did. And they look way better. CJ Stroud definitely looks like a Heisman contender. Like, kid looks good.
He's on a candidate.
Here's the thing, though. The only way that you're getting Notre Dame is getting Alabama is if Alabama beats Georgia and somehow gets moved into that 1 or 2 position. So they have to get to one of those 2 top spots for Notre Dame to even be in a conversation. I don't think Notre Dame beats if Alabama beats Georgia, though, there's no way Notre Dame beats them.
Is it? Well, hold on. If Cincy were to lose, okay, let's throw that in the equation here.
Okay.
If Cincy were to lose and then you lose to Georgia, right? And no, let's not worry about score. Let's just say you lose to Georgia.
Yep.
Even if you stayed in the 4, all right, you're now a 2-loss Bama. Is it possible Notre Dame jumps to 3, you end at 4, and then you would just get Georgia again? I'm not sure how much the committee, depending on what that score is, would want to see a rematch, which they like to avoid when those pop up. But nevertheless, it is a possibility.
That's possible. I can see that. I can see Notre Dame, a 1-loss Notre Dame jumping to 3 if Alabama has 2 losses and somehow still stays in. But I think it's a reach.
Well, hold on.
And
all right.
It is a big reach.
Well, hold on. Since everybody says I'm reaching here, Sean, your 4 makes no sense at all, okay? Because you have the same 4 that's in here, all right? Ohio State's not playing Georgia in the first round. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, Ohio State's not going to be 4th out of those 4 teams.
Okay?
It's going to
What's
be
going to
Ohio State
happen
loses to Michigan this weekend.
All right? Assuming Alabama stays in the 4, all right? I'm going to assume that Cincy doesn't jump Alabama. All right? As long as Alabama stays in, Cincy's not jumping them. Which means Cincy is going to get sent to the damn slaughter at Georgia. And then all you guys in the chat, Cincy needs to get in. Go ahead. It'll be Notre Dame in the playoff all over again.
Okay. Hypothetically speaking, Michigan beats Ohio State. Okay.
Harbaugh wins a big game.
Which is unlikely in and of itself. So I don't think that's ever happened. So I'm just going to discount that to that point. I still don't see a 2-loss. Let's say Alabama doesn't lose to Georgia. Now you have a 1-loss Georgia team, a 1-loss Bama team, a 2-loss Ohio State team, and an undefeated Cincy. You still think that Ohio State's going to be at 4 below Cincy at 3?
Ohio State's not getting in.
At 2 losses, they might.
No, if Ohio State loses, Michigan would be in. Michigan.
Oh yeah, because they're the 5.
Michigan's at 5. They beat Ohio State. You put Michigan in.
Yeah. So then Ohio State's not even in that conversation.
Like,
Sean's thing still doesn't work.
The only way. No, because here's the thing. All right, no matter how Sean wants to look at this, it doesn't work. Actually, Sean's way opens the door for me even more because Ohio State
Notre
loses.
Dame's not getting
now
in.
Michigan's
They're never going to get in.
Ohio State loses. Now Michigan State's got to go to the Big Ten title game, which means Harbaugh's got to win big games on back-to-back weeks.
Easy.
Okay?
Done.
We're not even betting on him winning 1, let alone 2. All right, so Michigan, if they somehow beat Ohio State, probably isn't going to pull off winning the Big Ten too. So now they both have 2 losses. So by all means, let that play out.
What does Notre Dame have, like the next 3 weeks off?
Well, they don't have a
no,
conference championship.
I would say Notre Dame plays this week.
So since they're not playing, technically they haven't played anybody. Drop them down the list. These guys are all going to be playing. Boom. Get them out of here.
That will not happen. Sorry, Chico.
They don't need Notre Dame here. They're just a waste of space.
Chico, are you still salty that I told you Arizona State would lose last week?
No comment.
Okay.
That's all we needed to know there.
Yeah, and I listened to your Oregon gonna beat Utah statement too, and look what happened.
We were all on Oregon. I don't want to hear nothing about Oregon.
How were they gonna lose?
We were all
Apparently.
wrong.
Yeah, we were all wrong on that one. That hurt.
I was going
That
to
hurt a
say,
lot.
we all took the Oregon train straight to hell. So,
Yeah,
but
that hurt.
again, we shouldn't be surprised. We've sat here for weeks talking about when is Oregon going to lose because we know Oregon's going to lose.
Yep.
We just happened
Well, then
to.
they
I
lost to
thought this was
Stanford.
the year. I was like, no way, they're doing it.
I was going to say, we just happened to decide to bet them the week that they did lose. So,
Yeah.
all
Happens.
right, let's move to the NFL now. Plenty of things to discuss here. Let's start with my abomination of a football team, the New York Giants. They got destroyed on Monday night by the Bucs. In a game which the offense looked like the three of us were playing. I mean, that's basically the best way I can describe it. And after some post-game comments, which alluded to as much, the following day, Jason Garrett was officially fired as the offensive coordinator. As Josh has pointed out, great, you got rid of Jason Garrett. Now Freddie Kitchens is calling your plays. But to my response, can it get any worse? I mean, really?
Yes. Yeah.
No, it can't.
You could have Adam Gase. You could have Adam Gase.
I'm pretty sure Adam Gase has like a restraining order in the state. Like he's not even allowed.
Good thing
anywhere.
they play in New Jersey. It's fine.
Ooh, got him.
The Jets share the stadium. It's the same fucking place.
Yeah. But if he's got a
Good
restraining
New
order in New York, he plays in New Jersey.
No, he doesn't have a restraining order in New York.
I'm saying if he did. They play in
Anyway,
Jersey, so it's okay.
here's the thing. All right.
So
Who's the? Why can't I think? Louis Riddick. That's the schmuck who does Monday Night Football. All right. Louis Riddick loves to think of himself as a GM. Hell, he was even interviewed to be the Giants GM a few years ago. So he's all high and
better than the
mighty.
guy you got now.
Well, that's what I'm going to get to. So Louis Riddick makes the prophetic comment on the commentary. That my 12-year-old son who doesn't know a damn thing about football could have watched the TV and told you that
That's
the
bad
Giants.
parenting.
It's not. But trust me, I've tried all I can. It's just
Okay. All right.
The Giants' offensive line is garbage. Okay, it's been garbage for years. It killed the end of Eli Manning's career, and it has made Daniel Jones have no chance of ever starting one. Okay? When Dave Gettleman, that freaking old bastard, got this job, the first thing he said was, we have to fix the offensive line. I love my, as he called them, hog mollies. What did he do? He got nothing. He overdrafted Andrew Thomas when there were more NFL ready. Everybody said this is a reach. There's more NFL ready guys, but he drafted him, right? That's worked out wonderfully. He signed Nate Solder, who basically acts like he's still playing for Bill Belichick because he doesn't do a goddamn thing for the Giants. The offensive line is god awful. It doesn't matter who you put back there. I could put who you want. Brady, Mahomes, Russell. You can put whoever the fuck you want back there. You're going to die. They are going to die. It is a turnstile. Everybody gets a turn.
What about Will Hernandez? That guy doesn't hold everything.
Too.
Yeah, right. That was a good one.
You guys still got Brandon Flowers?
Is Eric Flowers, and no, we kicked that piece of shit out a long time ago.
That's how shitty that guy is. You couldn't even get his name right.
I just knew it was Flowers.
Yeah.
That guy was good.
That's another thing. I'm going to draft an offensive lineman whose name is Flowers. Yeah, that screams brutality.
That's what we're going to put on his grave later. Flowers. Anyways, yeah, your team bad. Your team very bad. My team wins on a last-second field goal.
Listen, okay. We mentioned the Twitter goes 6-2 on Sunday. The two losses: Kirk Cousins, Colt McCoy. What the hell?
The Colt McCoy one, I even said. I said
that man
Kyler
don't get
Murray
hurt.
doesn't
He has a
start.
national championship.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does.
No, he doesn't.
Oh yeah,
He lost
he's
to
tearing
Alabama.
up that Alabama defense, man. He's slinging it left and right. Rolando McClain's like, I don't know what to do. Where am I at? But no, you guys had a cheap shot him in the wrist. Who?
First of all, I was a Texas fan going into that game. Okay, I love the Longhorns going into. No. You know damn well why I'm an Alabama fan now. I was born a Texas fan, and I had to switch to Alabama in like 2013, 2014. I had to switch to be an Alabama fan. But I was a Texas fan during that game, and I said if Colt McCoy didn't get hurt, Alabama was not winning that game. And I'm a goddamn liar. Sure. Okay? Like, that is the biggest lie in the world. There was no way Texas was winning that game, even with Colt McCoy. Not a chance. But yeah, so Colt McCoy, I said it too. I said Arizona was going to lose if Kyler Murray wasn't starting because I had zero faith in Colt McCoy. And I guess the Seahawks just are that bad now, even with Russ back.
Well, here's the thing. Going to the Seahawks, right? We talk about the mess that is the Giants, right? Gettleman's going to get fired. Like, the fact that he's still got the job, like, I don't need to wait till the end of the year. Fire him now, okay? They're going to have to make a decision on Joe Judge.
When does this guy become your guys' GM?
What?
When did he become your GM?
4 years ago?
Was it the year you guys drafted Jones?
Yeah, he drafted Jones.
Yeah, so 4 years.
But then you've only taken 6 offensive linemen in the last 4 drafts. Or last 4 years. And only one.
I was saying, and the only high pick he
How are you going to build a line?
The only high pick he ever used was Thomas. He tried getting linemen in free agencies. Remember when they traded Beckham? They got Kevin Zeiter from the Browns, an offensive lineman in that deal.
Zeitler. Yeah.
I mean, he's tried to patchwork it. But that's the problem. He's patchworking it, and it's fucking gushing like a goddamn
Eric Flowers
canyon.
That guy was the 9th overall pick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Oh, yeah, wonderful. So, like I said, Gettleman will get fired. They'll have to make a decision on Joe Judge. As far as I'm concerned, just clean the whole fucking slate. Bring in a GM who can pick his own coach, the whole thing. All right, so that's fine.
Louis Riddick?
No, not fucking Louis Riddick. Louis Riddick would probably make Booger McFarland his fucking head coach. And he would just go on that fucking thing up and down the sideline.
He'd be better than Joe Judge.
Allegedly.
I don't know.
Sean, be quiet.
I don't know if Joe Judge is good or bad. I mean, who the fucking coached this pile of shit?
That's something I think we need to do.
I think you let him get a quarterback that maybe he wants. He said he likes Jones, but then again, we don't know because Jones can't stand up more than a half a second before he's on the ground.
But again, so what? He's going to pick another kid to stand behind nothing? So he can die? What difference does it make?
Let's make it Spencer Rattler.
No. For the love of God.
Clemson.
Is he?
That'll work out.
That's what I'm saying. Transfer portal.
But the Seahawks, all right, remember we had a lot of rumors in the offseason about Russell Wilson and his desire to stay in Seattle. Obviously, this year hasn't gone real well.
Traded Russell to New York. He's used to being behind a shitty line as it is.
Well, here's the thing. That was 2 years ago. That was a rumor that because of Ciara, they want to go to New York. So, I mean, that's not a far-fetched thing. I don't know. I mean, again, I don't know.
Jones,
like if I'm going to get Russ, that means that I think I'm winning, which this team isn't close to. So I don't know that makes a whole lot of sense. But here is where I was going with this. I think they have to make a decision, and ultimately they will side with the player and not the coach. And I think Pete Carroll's days in Seattle are numbered.
Yeah, but
so
if there was a time for Pete Carroll to leave, it would be when UFC has an opening.
That's where I was going with this.
Yes, sir.
Because Pete Carroll's not getting another job in the NFL. That's just not going to happen. So why not go to your old stomping grounds where you're beloved? Okay, even if it doesn't go well, I mean, so what? They're not going to hate you.
Yeah.
It's Southern California. He has enough money.
I was going to say, like, I'm
Live
sure
it up,
all
baby.
I'm sure all his his sanctions have faded away by now. He's good.
I would think so. Yeah.
Bring back the Lane Train. Bring back Sarkeesian.
You think the Lane Train and
Just get the
Sarkeesian are
whole
going to
team
go to
back
USC under Pete Carroll? Absolutely not.
I was saying, we're
You say
still
that
trying
now.
to maintain if the Lane Train's going to stay at Ole Miss beyond this year. Let's calm down.
Lane
He's going
Train
to the
wasn't even
U.
happy behind Nick Saban. Okay, like Lane Train's
And he
never
loves
going
being
to
behind
take
Pete Carroll.
The only thing the Lane Train is happy behind is his wife. All right, let's calm down.
or
Or
the
Nick Saban's
daughters
daughter.
of coaches.
Eh,
Thank you.
Yep.
I'm glad. One track mind there. We were both thinking it.
Oh, yeah.
So
not everybody can be Urban Meyer.
So I want to do something for all of us next week. I want to add a segment to next week's show, considering all of us are most likely going to have new head coaches next year. Let's talk about. I want one name from each of us as to who we think would be the best head coach to come in and run your team to fix things. We'll do it next week. We don't give you some time to think about it.
I was
We'll
gonna
do it
say
next week.
I'm really gonna have to scour on that one.
Yeah, me too.
Well, Zimmerman's getting a 5-year extension, so I don't know why you're.
Fuck you.
Wait, hold on. I've got.
He's a piece
Chico,
of
I'm glad
crap.
you brought this
He's
up.
another 5
Josh.
years right there.
Josh,
Yeah.
we've had this. I brought this to your attention already. You have to tone down your hatred for Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer is pulling the ultimate power move right now. You can see why he's distracted from being a good coach.
Why?
Did you see the ass that he's getting?
What?
Mike Zimmer is dating a Maxim cover model.
What?
Dude, I sent this to you.
What?
You're lying. You're a liar.
Oh my God, you people.
Holy shit, that's not real.
I told you.
No, that's
What
not
the
real.
hell?
What? What is this?
Okay, so you need to chill on your hatred for Mike Zimmer. Okay, if I was Mike Zimmer, I wouldn't exactly be focused on the
Sign
football
this
team
guy
either.
up for 20 more years.
He is 38 years old. Jesus. Oh my
She's
God.
30?
I can't.
Wait, she's 30 yet?
She's 38
Whoa.
and he's like 70.
How do we miss this, Zach? Because I'm not on my phone all day. I don't get to sit at a computer like you do.
Yeah, I have a newborn at home. I don't get to see
I put this in the chat and tagged you. Come on.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Can't prove it.
Oh, I will. I will. What? Okay, so again, you need to chill on the Zimmer hatred.
I don't care how hot his new girlfriend is. As much as I'm impressed, I don't care. That doesn't mean he gets to stay head coach.
I was like, he can't focus on.
Yeah, it does. They're winning games. They're gonna make the wild
She's
card, and they're
probably
gonna extend him.
Dude, she's probably sexting him while they're in meetings. Like, he can't focus.
That's a him problem. Do your job first.
They have a winning
You
record.
beat the Packers. What else do you want?
We have a 500 record. We're 5-5.
You beat the Packers.
Yeah.
You're gonna
once.
win against the Niners.
That's your Super Bowl.
You think we're gonna win against the Niners? Every time
Well,
I've
no,
said
like,
on
they
this show to
shouldn't,
bet against the Vikings,
but they're
the Vikings
going to
win.
now.
So
I mean, come on, Josh. Beating Aaron Rodgers is your Super Bowl. Just
Pretty
take
much.
your
It's true.
Take your victories.
we didn't beat Aaron.
You guys
Rodgers,
broke his
though.
toe.
Yeah, well, that he always breaks something when he plays us, so I'm totally fine with that. Like, I wish it would have been his
Yeah,
collarbone.
Aaron-
That would have made me feel better.
Everson Griffin's brain is broken, but
All right,
We're gonna get
all
to
right,
that.
Since we're talking about Mike Zimmer, let's go to that. I was going to get to that later, but let's go to that. So,
Jesus Christ.
a crazy situation today where Everson Griffin locked himself in his house. He went to Instagram, in which he showed that he had a gun, which he had no issue saying that Dalvin Cook helped him get. He
he also
said
said it was
that,
registered to him in his name. Don't leave out the other details.
And he bought his bullets locally from around town.
Yes.
Around
yes.
town.
Said that there was somebody in the house trying to kill him. Just all kinds of craziness. Police went. He would not come out. As far I haven't seen anything recently. Did he eventually come out?
Yeah, he came out.
14 hours he spent holed up in his house before he agreed to come out.
Hope he went to the bathroom at some point.
Awesome.
The video that I sent you was from inside of his bathroom.
Oh, is that where it was?
Yeah.
Wow, looked like a bed.
No, there was the shower, like the standing shower was right next to where he was talking. So,
well, I mean, I guess if somebody was going to try and kill me, I'd hide in the tub. So, sure.
Easier to clean the blood off afterwards. Yeah, it's fine.
So, yeah. Anyway, needless to say, a crazy situation. Certainly, with everything else that's been going on in the NFL these days, not a situation the NFL would like to have on their plate. But obviously, and I think Josh, you brought this up when we were talking about it earlier. You see something like this, and anything football related when it comes to this, you automatically think CTE.
Yep, absolutely. And I mean, the guy isn't necessarily young anymore. He's my age, if not older. And I mean, he's been playing defense that entire time. He hasn't really had a year off. He's been consistently playing. He's taken a lot of hits. He's given a lot of hits. You started to see the signs when he was having alcohol and drug-related issues back in 2018, where he decided to run naked through the city of Minneapolis and break into other players' homes. Like, that was the first real sign we got that this dude was crazy. As Sean talked about in our chat earlier, you have the him going to the Cowboys after that and then to the Lions. So there's definitely some things there where you could tell that he was not mentally stable. And I always questioned, like, why let him leave? He was a voice on the defense. He was a leader. Totally putting that 2018 stuff out of my mind at that point. Now coming back and see him doing this, like, something's definitely off. And whatever it is, it was never properly addressed the first time. So I'm glad nobody got hurt. And I'm glad that what he shot at was just something in his own house and didn't hurt anybody. But you can't let that guy be on a football field right now. Like, don't put him on the field.
Yeah, I forgot that in the video he said he had already shot at whatever.
Yeah, because he said he had more clips.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the first thing I thought of was, it was almost like, thank God he took the video, because if he hadn't, it'd be a Junior Seau situation. It'd be a Junior Seau where you would just find him dead in the apartment because he shot himself.
Yep. Well, he was texting, he was sending text messages to his manager and stuff, saying, like, there's people here. Somebody's going to get me. I need help. Please help. Like, was sending out text messages. So you knew something was off.
He called 911.
He did. Yep. He called the police. And he said,
apparently want them there.
Well, no. He said somebody was trying to break into his house and that he had fired a shot. Police showed up. Police entered his house, didn't find anybody in the house. And then, they were talking to him and he just refused to come out. So at that point, they were outside because, he's not necessarily stable. And then they had psychiatrists and psychologists from the Vikings went to his house in Orono and tried to calm him down and talk him out so that he would come outside and get help. So it's a whole situation. And now Dalvin Cook, who's already dealing with alleged domestic violence allegations, he's brought in on gun charges now, helping Everson Griffin buy a gun for him.
Yeah, I was going to say, we talked about the Dalvin Cook situation before, which after we talked about it, I haven't heard anything else about it. It's just gone away, which is the best thing ever for Dalvin Cook. But whatever side of the fence you fell on with the Dalvin Cook situation, being Griffin's teammate, right? Obviously, you're around him a good amount of time. So regardless of the fact that, obviously he doesn't have these episodes frequently, thank God. You obviously have some idea of Griffin's stability. Okay?
Yeah.
So, based off of that, you have to wonder Dalvin Cook's thought process, moral compass, decision making, however you want to, where he goes, you know what, Everson, come on, let me help you buy a gun.
Let's be fair though. Dalvin Cook is a Florida man, so Florida man they know guns. I don't necessarily agree with the choice of gun that Everson went with. It's not my favorite. I wouldn't personally recommend it, but
how about Everson Griffin shouldn't have a gun?
A guy who was dealing with substance abuse issues previously. I mean, we can get into a gun control debate anytime, but this is not the show for it.
No. You're missing my point here. I'm not.
The fact that he has one is scary. Yes.
Yes, I'm not sitting here debating whether the right to bear arms. I'm not having that debate. I'm saying Everson Griffin, that particular man in his situation should not own a gun. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I think that was a bad judgment call by Dalvin Cook to help him get one. That's a bad decision.
Which then, again, if we're going to follow the Dalvin Cook story, which nobody wants to follow, if he made that bad decision making, what other bad decision making may Dalvin Cook have made? Okay, just saying.
Lots.
Just saying.
He doesn't know why grifted him in the video, but that's my brother. I hope he's okay, and just hopes that the Griffin family can work through this.
Yeah, Dalvin's like, get better. Please don't say my name ever again.
Yeah, that was so weird. Like when I watched the video, I just thought that was crazy. Like, Dalvin Cook, help me get this gun. I'm like, why? Why?
The one guy on the team that does not need his name in the press right now is the guy that you name drop. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it.
Dalvin's like, why couldn't you say it was Kirk? Tell me Kirk.
Because it's like, you know how I feel. If I die, I die. Here's a gun, bro.
So, again, if you follow the Twitter, I retweeted a tweet that we had put up a week or two ago during the Bills game this week, in which the Bills were getting just pasted. In that, a couple of weeks ago, we had said, look out for the Patriots. The Patriots are lurking. The Bills don't look stable right now, and the Patriots are finding their rhythm. And lo and behold, now here we are, and the Patriots are on top of the East. All right, it's only a half game, but nevertheless, they're on top of the East. They obviously have both games against each other still, so that'll work itself out. But, I said it last week, the people who were jumping up and down at the Patriots being bad and the Belichick era being over, short-lived. They're right back where they typically are. And, Josh, you're a big Bill supporter here at the beginning of this season. I wonder if it's not easier. I find myself having more faith in the Patriots right now than I do the Bills, even though the Bills on paper are a much better team.
Mm-hmm. I don't disagree with you. I would say after this weekend would be really time to either buy or sell the Patriots as a legit contender. The meme has been going around on Facebook and the internet all week of the realization that we might see Tom Brady versus New England in the Super Bowl. Unlikely, but possible. And I mean, New England looks good, but they got the Titans this weekend. A Titans team that's been very hit or miss. But
a Titans team that completely laid an egg.
Laid an egg, but the week before looked like world beaters without Derrick Henry and Julio Jones. So, they're so inconsistent. Same thing with the Bills. It's a weird year for the NFL. Like I can't really put my finger on any team and say yes, 100% that team is a Super Bowl contender. Like there just isn't one right now, and the Patriots sadly might be that team now, just the way that they have been slowly building this season.
Well, okay. If we're going to talk about the Patriots and building their season, then let's talk about another team that ended up where we've kind of expected them to be, which is the Chiefs. The Chiefs are on top of the AFC West.
Yep.
Nobody else in the AFC West is a viable contender at this point. The Chargers continue to. The Chargers, after doing so much to try and look like they weren't the Chargers, have completely reminded themselves that they are the Chargers. That's done.
Yeah.
So the Chiefs are now atop the AFC West. I don't see them losing control. They'll make the playoffs. And, while they didn't put up a ton of points on the Cowboys last weekend, what they did do, and I think that might be a little bit more of a promising sign if you're a Chiefs fan, is they held in check a high-powered Cowboy offense.
Yeah, I did not expect the Cowboys to. I actually had them winning that game, so I was very disappointed with them.
Mm-hmm.
But Chiefs are coming back around and looking like the team that they were in the past.
And they're on a bye this week, so they get extra time to prep and reset and refocus. So that's a dangerous team, yeah.
I'll say, plus Edwards-Helaire is coming back.
Yep.
So that'll help the running game. And, if they are, we've talked about it a lot about that, that the deep play over the top not being there as much for them anymore and them being more of a take small chunks, check down type team. If you're going to do that, and that's what teams are going to give you, Edwards-Helaire plays perfectly into that. The 2 weeks before Edwards-Helaire got hurt, that's what they were starting to do with him. They were starting to incorporate him more in the check down small, while he was still running in the passing game, check down small passes to try and work them down the field. And he was having big weeks, and then obviously he got hurt. So I really think that with Edwards-Helaire now back, it really helps them start getting going that offense more in that, scheme.
Mm-hmm. It definitely helps. So we've got the Chiefs on top in the West. Who's in second place right now?
I will look. I believe it's still the Chargers. Let's see.
Should be.
Chico, what happened to your Raiders, man? That whole team looks like they got into a car accident and crashed and burned.
It's been a rough couple months.
Are they all suing with Gruden?
I hope so.
They should, honestly, because ever since those emails, like, that team has gone to shit.
Well, you know what? Gruden, if you look at the basis of Gruden's case, he certainly has a case. He's going, why are you saying that you're not going to release the emails, yet you released not the emails, but just a clip of an email with me and a statement?
Yeah.
So to answer your question, yes, the Chargers are in second. They are a game behind the Chiefs, and then the Raiders and Broncos are tied.
Yep.
Woohoo!
You don't have a losing team in the AFC West, so
No.
That's tough.
I was going to say, not hard.
We might be. We're
you're close. You're on a 3-game losing streak, so you need a win this week.
Oh, got the boys this week.
So looking at
They're good. They just didn't do good last week. Let's hope they don't do good this week.
So looking at, since we're talking about the divisions, looking at a couple other divisions, like we said, the Titans laid an egg last week. They're still 8-3. They still have the lead. But good old Carson Wentz and the Hard Knock Colts.
Hell yeah.
They've won 3 in a row. They're finally over the 500 hump. They're 6-5. They're 2 games back of the Titans.
Of Jonathan Taylor.
I would say Jonathan Taylor is completely taking over the MVP conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you buy the Colts taking a run at the Titans?
Absolutely not.
I do.
Y'all have too much faith in Carson Wentz.
No. First off, I didn't give an answer. All right, I didn't say yes or no. I posed a damn question. All right, and second off, my faith is not in Carson Wentz. My faith is in the man from Wisconsin behind him.
You can
Because
stop a running game.
you can stop a
Jonathan
running.
Taylor.
The Colts go as Jonathan Taylor goes. That's abundantly obvious.
This is like the
right now,
2012 Vikings are the Colts right now.
But right now, Jonathan Taylor's putting them on his shoulders and saying, "Come with me." But I could say that, and they haven't disproved it yet. And let's see. This is now their third week without him. I could say that Jonathan Taylor is doing his best Derrick Henry, because what are the Titans without Derrick Henry?
The Titans bumped themselves to first place in the AFC without Derrick Henry.
No, they were in first place when Henry went down.
No, they were in second place when Henry went down.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were. They're 8-3 right now. They've lost one game.
They lost one game. They lost last week.
Yeah.
So they were 8-2.
Texans.
Yeah, losing to the Texans. Who did they beat the week before, though? Did they beat the Bills the week before? Or the Rams?
The Rams.
They beat the Rams without Derrick Henry.
Okay, but how have the Rams looked recently? I don't know how much stock I'm putting into that.
Yeah, I know. That's weird. That is weird. I don't know what's going on with the Rams.
Look, I picked them to win. I was picking them to go to the Super Bowl, but now I don't even know if they'll make it out of the division. You got Colt McCoy down there slanging it still.
And
here's the thing. We're sitting here, we all were in the same kind of mindset with the Rams, and now the Rams have looked horrible. They're coming off of a bye, so hopefully they've kind of found something. But here we are, and we were all in agreement that the Cardinals would kind of start coming back to the pack, and they're holding them with their own with Colt McCoy.
Yeah, I did not expect that, especially the last few years. Colt McCoy playing, I think Washington did not look good.
Nope. But,
he was built to run that kind of system, so I can see why he's doing well.
That's what you expect out of a journeyman backup, though. Somebody who can come in a time of need and not lose you games. He's not really winning the games. He's not playing
close.
Yeah, that's all he has to do. He has to be a game manager. He has to keep the game close, and that's what he's doing. So good for him. He's also getting really lucky with the teams that he's been playing. So, there's that. But, he doesn't have DeAndre Hopkins either, who hasn't been, great at all this year, but is still a huge factor. So not having D-Hop and
catching up with him?
I don't know, man. I feel like it's just a curse of those Texans players.
Colt McCoy has taken the shiny new toy that the Cardinals got in Zach Ertz and used Zach Ertz more in 2 weeks than the Falcons have used Kyle Pitts the entire year.
That's true.
So, there's something to be said for when you get somebody actually using him.
Oh, quick question. Kyle Rudolph is a Giant now, right?
He's hurt.
Technically,
yes.
Yeah, he's hurt. How pissed do you think he is that his third string backup is getting more passes than he ever did in a Vikings uniform right now? Tyler Conklin is going off in Kirk Cousins' offense at the moment.
Kirk Cousins hates his Notre Dame tight ends. That's why.
I understand. Makes sense. These guys are all trash.
I'm surprised this guy doesn't got a Kyle Rudolph jersey with the Giants.
Yes.
Oh, Notre Dame.
One other division I wanted to talk about. We talked about the Cowboys losing last week. They're 7-3. Amari Cooper is going to miss the game this week because he is unvaccinated and has COVID. Jerry Jones being very vocal about his displeasure with that. But, when isn't Jerry Jones vocal? The Eagles have won 2 in a row. They are a game under 500. They should be 500 after this week when they play my Giants. Do either of you buy into the Eagles making a run at the Cowboys?
Yes. December's coming up, and we all know that December's not a good time to be a Cowboys fan. So the Eagles I mean, even the Washington football team, they both have the potential to make a run still, and go at the Cowboys. So I'm not going to put anything out. I mean, Zeke has not played like Zeke at all this year. Tony Pollard's producing, but not like good enough. And with, I mean, Amari out and Dak with his issues all season. If
CD's out
that,
too, isn't it?
I think CD's out too. Yeah.
I know he has a concussion. I don't know if he got cleared or not to play.
But regardless, Jalen Hurts playing like the Jalen Hurts of Alabama and Oklahoma, I guess, because he made the playoff with Oklahoma too. Playing at that level is interesting. I mean, he's got Devontae Smith there, who has looked really good as a rookie. This is another great year of wide receiver rookies. So I think that he's kind of finding his groove. He's getting a little bit more comfortable there. I could definitely see them push it. I think they're missing a couple pieces to be like real playoff contenders, but I think that they could do just enough to get past the Cowboys and squeak in.
Well, here's what bodes well for the Eagles. You look at the Eagles' schedule, who they've played thus far, and who they have left. It seems like if they play a good quarterback, they lose. If they play a subpar quarterback or a bad quarterback, they win. So let's go through it. They beat the Falcons and Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan having a blah season. Okay,
Get that man out of Atlanta.
They lost to the Niners. That was the beginning of the year. That was that 17-11 game. Nobody scored points. They got killed by the Cowboys and Dak. They lost to Mahomes and the Chiefs. They beat the Panthers and Sam Darnold. They barely lost to Brady and the Bucks. They did lose to Chico's Raiders, so you can take that for what you want to. They lost to Herbert and the Chargers.
Trash.
All right, but they beat the Broncos. All right, with
Teddy.
nothing. They beat the Saints with nothing.
Trash.
All right, so look at what they've got left. In the next 4 weeks, they get the Giants twice. All right, nothing to write home about there. In between those Giant games, they get the Jets with whoever they're going to throw out there, and the football team with Heineke.
Heineke, yep.
All right. Then
Go.
to end the year, right? So basically they've got 6 games left. They've got 2 with Daniel Jones, 2 with Heineke, whoever the Jets throw out, and Dak at the end of the year. So if the Cowboys falter and the Eagles handle their business, it is possible that game at the end of the year could be for the division.
It's the NFC East, right?
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if it does end up that way.
The only reason why I'm not firmly in belief of that is because now you're asking me to put all the faith in the world in Sirianni and Hurts taking care of business that they're expected to.
Mm.
All right, this is a team that we didn't expect anything for. I took the under in their wins, and they're probably past that now. All right, they only need 2 more to get past that. But again, even if they do that, they need the Cowboys to falter. So,
Like, even as bad as the Cowboys looked last week, I don't think that trend is going to continue. I feel like they're going to get, like Zach says, they're here. If they get healthy, they're good. They got a lot of weapons. Dak's playing well, even though he's had a couple games where he's gotten hurt a little bit. But, I feel like they can win I can see them going all the way to the NFC Championship game this year.
I mean, for comparison's sake, the Cowboys have your Raiders tomorrow.
Oh, they're losing. Easy win.
All right. Then they have the Saints.
Easy win.
That's an easy win.
They have 2 with the football team.
They probably
That could
split
go
that
either way.
series.
The Giants, and then
Win.
and the game before the Eagle game is their hardest of the group. They have the Cardinals.
That's a loss.
Well, I mean, is Kyler going to be back?
Yeah.
You can get
I would
hurt
hope
again.
Tiny Tim can make it back in 6 weeks.
Who knows?
Yeah, he'll be back. I need
That could
him.
be a shootout, or it could be a 3-0 game.
Could be a 3-0 game.
I thought last week with the Chiefs and the Cowboys, I thought it was going to be 88 to 89.
Or like a 17-20 game. That would be fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah, as gross as it does to say, the Cowboys could go. Shit, they can go all the way this year if they get healthy at the right time.
No.
Who are they going to beat up? Who are they going to lose in the playoffs?
They'll lose to
Who are they
Tampa
losing?
Bay again.
They're going to lose to the frickin' Vikings in the wild card.
That would be hilarious. I would love that. That would make me really happy because that's going to be
Yeah,
a
and
shit
you know what
show of a
happens? Zimmerman
Zimmer
gets
gets an
another
extension.
extension.
game. Then I'm going to be so pissed. Like I would absolutely love to beat the Cowboys in the playoffs, but then seeing that Zimmer is going to get an extra
Chico,
3 years is going to piss me off.
You want to see Josh go from pure excitement to pure deflation? He'd get excited as soon as they beat the Cowboys, and then go to pure deflation when Zimmer and his Maxim cover girlfriend are hugging at the 50-yard line.
Well, I'd be like, that asshole just got himself another year, motherfucker.
Yeah, and then the next week they get blown out by the Bucks, and then Zimmerman still gets an extension.
I'll be mad.
We're like, you know what? It's a lifetime contract. You can leave when you want to leave.
All right, hold on. One thing real quick. I got to bring up this comment that was made earlier about we're talking about too many Alabama players, and it's getting me excited. Just a fun fact. There is an Alabama player starting at every single position in the NFL, so it doesn't really matter who we're talking about. I can always talk about an Alabama player.
You have a kicker?
Yeah.
Where?
Come on.
And a punter. And a long snapper.
We got a center that probably long snaps.
You said every position.
Yeah.
Chico, don't give him reasons to start running off Alabama people. Calm down.
I want to know who the long snapper is.
But Chico,
I'll
to
find
answer
out,
the question
keep
about who the Cowboys lose to in the playoffs, Bucks they would lose to, Packers they would lose to, and
Packers just lost to the Vikings.
Packers will still make the playoffs, and Rodgers will still beat Dallas.
Packers just lost to the football team. Or the Bucks just lost to the football team.
Yep.
And then they beat up on the Giants. Okay?
What's easy?
And
Except for the Raiders can't do it.
I would say it is a 50-50 game at this moment between Cowboys-Cardinals.
I say that too. I think that I think that's gonna be a really good game. I actually would be excited to watch that one if you have a full, healthy Murray.
All right. So why Josh goes and looks up all his Bama people. Here we'll save.
Pittsburgh. J.C. Hassenauer, long snapper for Pittsburgh, played at Alabama.
Terrific.
Debatable.
Suck a dick.
All right, so let's get to something Chico can talk about. Chico, there's actually something golf-related going on this week.
Oh, yeah. Got the match coming up with Brooks Koepka versus Bryson DeChambeau, who they're not the most friendly of people to each other. They like to bicker back and forth. A lot of under-the-breath snide comments. But I'm excited. I've watched all the matches they've shown.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, because I've watched all the matches too. And the best thing that comes out of the match is the trash talk.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, the back and forth between DeChambeau and Koepka has been more under the breath, snide stuff. So do you think we will get the trash talk that we've become accustomed to with previous matches?
Yes, I think we will. More because it's going to be for, they know people are tuning in to see that kind of thing. Will it be a little bit more friendly? Probably. I would say yes, just for TV sake, because it is on TNT.
No, I don't want it to be friendly.
More
PG?
Censored. Yeah, more PG. I mean, they've put away their differences when it comes to things like the Ryder Cup or I think President Cup. But once that's over, it's back to they get under each other's skin. A guy like Bryson likes to take his time when he's golfing. And if he knows like a guy like Koepka's behind him, he'll sit there and take the allotted time he needs to hit his golf shot just to piss him off.
Brooks Koepka is weak-minded. He's not winning that. He's not winning the match.
First off, Brooks Koepka is not weak-minded.
Yes, he is.
Brooks Koepka only wins majors. He has more major wins than he has career wins. And
he was
to win a
supposed
major,
to.
you have to be strongly mind or have a strong mind because that's a tough field.
He was supposed to play a $250,000 charity event against Dave Portnoy of Barstool, and he was supposed to play his wrist. He was supposed to play him left-handed, and he doesn't want to reschedule it. Like he didn't reschedule it. I get he got hurt. Yeah, you can break your wrist, but you say we'll do it again some other time. No, he doesn't want to
have
do
his
it
own
anymore.
issues at the moment that he doesn't need to be worried about golfing Koepka.
No, there's no
Portnoy
issues.
has some issues with sexual misconduct with some women that he needs to lawyer up about.
Prove it. There's no allegations in that article.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, there are.
No, there's not. There's actually no allegations in that article.
Now we know what happens when he turns the camera off from all those shitty pizza fucking reviews.
You're just mad because he shits on every pizza place you like.
No, he doesn't.
How many places in Jersey has he shit on that you've eaten and you're like, fuck you, Portnoy?
None. It's just like who the fuck labeled Portnoy as a pizza expert?
He's been doing it for like 5 years, bro.
First off, when he dogged on Jack's Pizzas, I was like, get the fuck out of here, man. You don't know how to cook it. That's why.
First of all, Jack's Pizzas are trash.
You're trash.
They're like
they're
like the Midwest. Like, I'm poor, I need fucking pizza. I'm gonna go pay $2 to get Jack's.
I was poor and I ate pizza a lot, and it was Jack's, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, well, Haggie's is the best pizza in the Midwest. Jack's is absolute trash.
First off, no one eats Haggie's because it's trash.
Yes, they do.
Name one person.
Jack's is like the fucking Taco John's of Mexican
Taco John's
restaurants.
Delicious. Potato Olays, baby.
First of all, you have Roberto's in Las Vegas, and you want to tell me?
Yeah, we don't have a Taco John's down here. You know how depressed I am?
Because you have real fucking tacos. What does this conversation become at this point? I don't even fucking
I don't know, but
anyway.
I'm actually excited too because the match is taking place at the Wynn Golf Resort, which is right on site of the Wynn Casino here in Vegas.
Are you going?
I don't think I can get a ticket. I'm gonna go see if I can get some on the field interviews for us.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I will get kicked out of there so fast.
Chico's our on the course correspondent.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a video of me getting tossed over the fence.
Anyway, so Chico, DeChambeau is a minus 125 favorite to win this thing. Koepka is small dog at plus 105. I like Koepka to win.
I've never played this course, but from my understanding, the way it's built, I don't know because Bryson's whole thing now is hitting the ball far as he can.
Yes,
it is a pretty wide course. Fairways are larger, so I could see him having the ability because I've seen the course from an aerial view, and the tree lines aren't very high, so he can tee it up and just launch it over those tree lines and try and get to the green in one. But Brooks is no short game player either. The guy can hit the ball a country mile just with the best of them. And he keeps himself in a little bit better shape.
So, DeChambeau, like you said, DeChambeau just wants to rip it as far as he can. Mm-hmm. Sometimes his swing kind of looks like us when we play PGA, and it goes all over the place. Is this course? You said it's wide. Is it set up where if he gets a little haywire, there are hazards and whatnot to grab him, or is he pretty safe no matter where he lands?
He should be pretty safe no matter where he lands. Unfortunately, like I said, I haven't got to play it. You have to pay $500, and I'm not doing that. But just from seeing it, it doesn't look like there's a lot of hazards. You're looking mainly like a couple fairways and mainly around the green. If he does hit one little haywire, he should be fine. More likely, you're looking at him being maybe on the other fairway and just hitting over a tree line. if there is one. A lot of it too is going to be small bush and stuff like that.
Might change my opinion then.
It's not like he's playing. It's not like this course is Augusta or anything where like you get in that type of tree line and it's a lot harder to get out of.
I mean, when DeChambeau struggles, it's because the course makes him pay for not being able to hit straight. And if this course isn't going to make him pay, then I think
them knowing that they have this event coming up for a while now, they could have done some things differently to the course and changed it out, made it longer. Even put in more hazards for these guys, because I guarantee if it's set up standard, these guys will come up and just eat that course alive like it's some regular Muni course that Josh plays out on a Tuesday.
We have nice courses here, okay? Pretty sure we have a major here somewhere in the state.
Yeah, it's not over there. It's not a major. It's you guys do have the Twin Cities one they play every year, but you have a major up in. It's usually the PGA they'll do out there every now and then.
Mm-hmm. It's like 30, 40 minutes from where I live. Yeah, it's not far. It's expensive though.
They're only playing 12 holes too. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's why I'm taking Bryson. I think Bryson wins.
Oh wow, 12?
Yeah, they're only playing 12. And they're doing. This is a weird setup. They're going 6, 3. 12, 13, or 16, 3, 12, 13, 11, 5, 14, 9, 7, 8, 18, and 17.
Huh.
It's
weird.
Shit. That's easy. It's not too hard.
I'm going to take Bryson simply on the fact that he's
a 250-yard par 3. I'm looking at the yardage book right now, seeing what it looks like. It actually is a little more narrow than I thought it was, just from, like I said, I've only seen it from aerial views or from like a room. So it looks a little bigger, but Bryson could have trouble if he can't keep his driver straight. He might have to switch to an iron or a 3-wood, or probably hybrid. He's still going to hit it almost as far as anyone else. Well, the other person there.
Yeah,
like I'm going Brooks just because of the fact that I'm not a big Bryson guy.
I just, Bryson tends to go haywire, and his short game isn't great to begin with, so I would side with Koepka. Although
and that's where Koepka has, if you look at his past winnings when he's won his majors, his short game and putting have been the reason why he's pulled away from the field and, has won, I think, 5 and 2 back-to-back PGAs.
Yeah, I'd like a bigger price on Koepka, but I mean, nickel is a nickel. All right. Anyway, let's go to the last topic, and another one for Adrian, who isn't in here. Josh, you knew we couldn't get away without talking about LeBron. He always finds his way on this show, and and thanks to something I found earlier that you saw, we can go 2 ways with this LeBron conversation. Let's go with the first one because this should be very short-lived. LeBron, in his never-ending "I need to be better than Michael Jordan," has linked up with I guess you want to call it a collab with Liverpool, in which they're doing a line that is said to rival Michael Jordan and Nike. What the hell is this?
Clothing line, shoe line. What are we talking here?
Yeah, I don't know exactly
an apparel line.
Does he even know what soccer is?
I think he actually. Somebody double check me on this. I think he might have a small ownership stake. I think that is his connection with Liverpool. I feel like I saw something where LeBron bought into.
That's why
soccer.
he wears like the Liverpool stuff every now and then at the press conference. He has a 2% stake in the club.
There you go.
Yep. For $6.5 million he put into the club. Okay. So he's an owner, so that means that I don't care. I thought that our LeBron conversation was going to be about that sucker punch.
We're getting to the sucker punch. I want to touch on the Liverpool.
Start off with the clothing line first, sir.
I don't care about clothes. Like, if it's not Russell Westbrook, I don't care about fashion and basketball players.
I didn't know Russell Westbrook had fashion.
Have you seen the way that dude?
He is fashion, okay?
He is fashion.
How dare you, Dan? Dare you?
He's Cam Newton fashion.
You probably are.
Yeah, that's why I'm interested to see him partner up with an EPL team like LeBron, who can't even keep his own hairline fashionable. Like, is going to do an apparel line with one of the biggest teams in the English Premier League. I don't care.
Okay.
Plus, it's cool. They suck.
I mean, they just beat Arsenal 4-0, so I appreciate them for that.
The three of us can beat Arsenal. That's something.
I mean, the three of us can beat Man U right now.
All right, so let's get to what you wanted to talk about, which is the incident between him and Detroit's Isaiah Stewart. I'm sure everybody's seen this at this point, but in case you didn't, it was a free throw. LeBron was boxing out Stewart, and LeBron turns towards Stewart and proceeds to throw a punch at him. Stewart obviously upset, takes a couple of steps toward LeBron. Now we get referees and players in between. This eventually boils up even more, where Stewart becomes enraged. Stewart eventually starts bleeding. He proceeds to try and run away from people in efforts to get toward LeBron. We had AD try and act like he was a tough guy. I'm surprised he didn't hurt himself in the fracas. Carmelo even said some things, whatever. So our astute LeBron lover, Adrian, when we were talking about this when it happened, his response was, you guys have never seen, obviously you guys have never boxed out anybody. And even Anthony Davis, once the suspensions came out, LeBron got a game, Isaiah Stewart got 2 games. We'll get to that momentarily. When the suspensions came out, AD said, I was surprised LeBron got suspended, and we've all got hit in the face, and not and there's no suspensions for that. Here's the thing. There is the difference, a fundamental difference between boxing out and what happened with LeBron. If LeBron was boxing out and had his back to Stewart and then turned and his arm kind of swung and he had backhanded punched Stewart, okay, fine. That is a box out. We've all seen it. And that goes to we've all gotten hit in the face. LeBron turned towards Stewart, was facing Stewart, and cold clocked him in the chin. There was no boxing out in this. Okay? I don't care how many times you watch the video. He turns towards Stewart and swings and punches him. So it's not boxing out. If you're boxing out, your back is toward the guy. You're not facing him. Nobody face boxes out anybody.
It's called a hug.
So that's that. And as far as the suspensions, the 2 games for Stewart and the 1 game for LeBron, I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all. I'm actually a little surprised LeBron got a game, because I always knew Stewart was going to get more, and they were always going to spin it as, because Stewart spiraled out of control, which, I don't know what the hell you expected from the guy. Okay, but yeah, I'm surprised. I guess they had to give LeBron the suspension because they gave him the flagrant. They kind of go hand in hand. But it just goes in. I mean, this is the same guy in LeBron that in the COVID year had a party where nobody wore masks. It was videotaped, and the NBA did nothing about it. So I'm not surprised that in a situation like this, where if it was Stewart who had punched LeBron, he probably would have been banned for the year. LeBron got a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I say again, I'm not surprised either. The 1-game suspension, LeBron, I figured it was going to be 1 game or no, or this isn't college football where you can do half. But I'm not surprised anymore. LeBron can do what he wants. It's his league. The other guy, though, I do feel like he did overreact. To me, you got hit in the face. It sucks. You're also getting paid millions of dollars. just go over to the sideline, get patched up, and get back in there and win the game, and show him this way. I didn't like the fact that he was in front of LeBron. You're seeing pictures of him there, and then he waited till his teammates got around him. Then he started acting crazy. Like, I'm gonna get him. Like, if you had your shot, do it then. But yeah, to me, both 1 and 2 game suspensions, I think it's fair. I'm more surprised that LeBron even got one, and maybe that's about it.
I feel like, and obviously we don't know because we can't hear. I feel like, Stewart was upset at the beginning, kind of made his way toward LeBron, was talking to LeBron, but like wasn't excitable. And I feel like once we got the groups, I feel like somebody said something that kind of got him riled up. And also, I feel like in the first little push that Stewart makes, somebody probably got him because the initial punch from LeBron doesn't make him bleed. Something happened that made him bleed after, which I never picked up. So I'm thinking that's what kind of spiraled that further out of control.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. Like, you could see right after the fight, or not right after the fight, right after the hit, they're both apologizing to one another. Like, LeBron comes out and says, "Hey, that's my bad." Like, he owned it, which was a surprise. I didn't think that he would, considering he flopped for the most just ridiculous things. He'll take a flop on. Like, he openly admitted that he hit him. So, like, kudos to him for that. Sorry, I was talking to my fiance there for a minute, but who is Stephen A. or Shannon Sharp said something to the effect of, like, that's what happens when you get boxed out, and you said it too, Dan. Like, people saying, if you've never been boxed out before, like, this happens, you get aggressive, you're like, get off me. If the NBA is trying to improve their reputation and try and say that they're not that kind of league, like they don't deal with that kind of tomfoolery, this is not how you play the position. And LeBron, as the face of the league for so long, should not be the guy that you see doing that. Isaiah Stewart's definitely at fault. I think he deserved more than 2 games. I think LeBron getting 1 based on everything that happened, fine. But I think Isaiah Stewart probably should have got more than 2. Probably should have got at least 5, in my opinion, because of that delay. Like, because he didn't just go from taking that hit to going in and trying to get at LeBron. It took him a minute when he noticed he was bleeding to then start, like, trying to go after him multiple times, like getting pulled away and then coming back, getting pulled away and getting pulled back. It's not a malice at the palace situation, but like the whole thing is just like, why? This didn't need to happen. And they both played their part in it. I'm a little shocked at how small Stewart's thing is, but LeBron getting a game didn't surprise me. It was definitely his fault, but he's not the reason why it escalated. So I feel like a game is fair, but he could have gotten nothing, and I would have understood why he didn't get anything.
To what you were saying about Shannon Sharp, it was Shannon Sharp, and much to what I said to Adrian. Adrian is a LeBron loyalist and apologist, very similar to Shannon Sharp. So I fully expect any issue with LeBron, they will side with LeBron. So why would I take anything they say, into consideration when it comes to LeBron? They're immediately disqualified. But what I have noticed, and to your point about Stewart with the delay, is that guys that have problems with LeBron are more open to vocalizing or doing it with a group as opposed to one-on-one. And what I'm bringing up is there was the Enes Kanter situation where Kanter called out the league and called out LeBron for his affiliation with China, which everything Kanter said was truthful. There was nothing that Kanter said that couldn't be fact-checked, verified, anything. However, the other night, a few nights ago, might have even been the game before this Stewart incident, they were playing, and before the game, they were both on the court, and Kanter had a very easy situation where he could have went up and had a very brief conversation with LeBron. addressed it. Did not happen. Was asked about it after the game. Cantor basically didn't say anything, and LeBron basically said, in perfect LeBron fashion, people love to put my name in their mouth to make it more important. Which, while not 100% true, in this case, Cantor helps him say that. Because if you're going to say it, and then LeBron is there and you're not going to follow up, then you're using LeBron to pump yourself. All right, if you've got an issue, take it up with him. All right, we've said that about multiple people, where people say something about it, all right, so go to them.
Nope, I'm good with everything you said. I don't disagree with you at all.
And it hurts me to side with LeBron in anything, but I side with LeBron in that.
I mean, he can't be wrong all the time, but he is wrong most of the time.
By the way,
I like it better if he's wrong all the time.
Just for the record, the Lakers this year, 6 times already, have trailed in a game by 25 or more. There are only 2 other teams that have done that this year. They are tied for the lead. The Magic are one of them, and I forget who the second one. I want to say the Rockets, but LeBron's problems lie a lot deeper than off the court.
I'm just waiting for him to trade somebody here soon.
Russ would be the one to trade.
I need him for
That's not
fantasy
working.
points. Don't do it.
I didn't think
Russ
it was going to work.
Russ experiment did not
move in the beginning of the year, but I would much rather put
somebody
like
go.
John Wall
I would love to get. John Wall won't play for anybody. John Wall's just sitting there collecting checks like he's been doing for 4 years. I'd like to get truth serum in LeBron right now and find out who he would rather have: Russell Westbrook or bring back Alex Caruso.
Kyrie.
The Karate Kid played for the Lakers?
No.
Oh God.
Yes, the Karate Kid played for the Lakers.
Yeah.
Dope.
That's what I'm sticking with.
All right. That is it for this week's show. Next week's
not.
show.
Oh, it's not.
I'm
Are
sorry.
we not going to give out a single bet?
Oh, that's
We're
right.
not gonna do bets this week?
Silly me.
Jesus
How's the beard and the bookie? We didn't do the bookie part.
The bookie doesn't even know that we got to do the bookie part.
That's silly me.
I've had these bets just sitting here waiting.
I apologize.
I don't even want to talk about him anymore.
I apologize. Go ahead. Fire away.
Boom.
Okay.
College football. Here we go. Taking Ole Miss over Mississippi State. It's a lock.
Okay.
Money line on that, plus 110. Wake Forest over BC. Money line on that. They're going to bounce back this week after losing to Clemson and beat BC. Even though I'm a big BC guy right now, we're going with Wake Forest. Here's the kicker. Here's the big one. Michigan beats Ohio State this week. Money line that at plus 260. And it's going to be big. You're going to see it. They're going to get themselves into the college playoff. Beat Alabama, win a national championship. Calling it now. And we're going with UNLV with the points. They are plus 18.5 on Air Force. Take UNLV to cover. And that's what I got for my 4-teamer right now.
Anytime we try and get,
you can parlay those, you can bet them individually. Do what you want. I'm just here giving you free money.
Anytime we try and get some credibility on the show, we let Chico put his bets out.
The Twitter is where we
I
get all
am
of our
here for those long shot guys that are like, I'm down to my last $5. What can I bet on? There
Chico,
we go.
did you see the guy at MGM who won over $1 million on the $50 bet?
$50 16-teamer? Yeah. Fuck
Hey, that's
that
real
guy.
money.
$50, 15-leg parlay. That won.
Trashy.
I think it was 1.15.
1.1, yeah. I'd seen that, and must be cool.
Good for that guy.
And I win a $5 parlay over here. This guy's winning 16-team $50 parlays.
He had a golf future on there.
Did he?
Yeah, he had a
I gotta pull
woman
that up.
golfer to win a tournament on there. It was like plus 600. That was like his
her.
big
She
money.
almost quit golf last year. If this is what I'm thinking about, the one that just won.
That was his big money on there. And then the only thing he had to sweat out was the Ravens.
Some bitch.
Yeah. All right, Josh, go ahead, fire away.
Okay, so I am going to take Minnesota with a +7 against Wisconsin. I just like seeing Paul Bunyan's axe in Minnesota, so that's a homer pick for me. But decent money. That's going to be a close game, and considering Wisconsin's actually ranked right now, I would love to see PJ Fleck come out and take it to Wisconsin like he has the past couple years. So I actually like them in that game. Alabama's a 19.5-point favorite against Auburn. I'm going to take Auburn at +19.5 on that. It's the Iron Bowl, and whenever Bama has these down years where they're not playing like world beaters, weird things happen at Jordan-Hare Stadium, so expect this game to be close. I'm going to take Michigan State as the +1 against Penn State. I think that's just an easy win. Michigan State should bounce back considering they just re-signed Mel Tucker for 9 more years as a head coach. So that just broke during the show. So I think he comes out and proves it a little bit. I think they beat Penn State. And then I'm going to take the opposite of Chico's Michigan bet, which is ludicrous. I'll take Ohio State -8. I think they win that easy.
Yep.
Ludicrous, Chico.
You know what else that was crazy? Steve Jobs. Now everyone has a computer. You're welcome.
And he's dead. Looks like I won.
Doesn't mean he wasn't crazy.
Speaking of Steve Jobs, okay, me not paying attention, I guess, did not realize that Steve Jobs was so integral in Pixar.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Yeah. Didn't he
no.
help create it?
He was there. He was the main investor.
You know who else was big into Pixar in all things animated? George Lucas.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah, George Lucas kind of kicked him to the curb.
So they were shitty at the time.
Boo.
All right.
Let's hear your trash picks now, Dan.
All right.
If you guys want to lose money, listen to this guy.
All right. Yeah, my trash picks. I'll take. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'll take Iowa getting the 1 against Nebraska. I go the other way. I haven't bet Iowa right this year at all. So I'll lay the 15 with Coastal Carolina against South Alabama. Let's see what else we've got here. I'll go the opposite. Chico, who'd you take, Wake or Boston College?
I went with Wake.
I kind of agree with Chico on that. Boston College has had issues getting back on the horse. Yeah. I kind of like Florida State getting the 2.5 against Florida. I mean, Florida just fired Dan Mullen. You know, Florida State has at least been scrappy. I could see them winning that game. What else do we have here? I might lay the 3.5 with Liberty against Army. Hugh Freeze just got the extension there. Oregon State coming off the win against ASU last week. Oregon obviously coming off the loss, but Oregon State is good in a underdog role. Oregon obviously with no shot at the college playoff now. I don't know how much, they have left to play for. I'll take Oregon State getting the 7.
They always play well in the Civil War too. Even if Oregon State has a bad team, they always give Oregon usually a good run for the money. You're not going to touch that Oklahoma State game?
No one wants to touch that game.
Yeah, I was gonna say the
4 points. Oof.
the only thing I might be willing to touch on that is the over. It seems like a small over for that game at 50.5.
I
And
got
I know
straight
that
50 on
And I
that.
know that the Oklahoma offense hasn't been, the Oklahoma offense, but I just feel like that's really low. So maybe I go there.
You taking the over?
I'll lay the 11.5 with Clemson over South Carolina. South Carolina's not good. And Clemson's starting to kind of find themselves a little bit.
Make sure you take that money line with Stanford.
No, I'm actually going to lay the 19.5. Notre Dame will stomp Stanford. They will
I
stop.
can't wait for them to beat you guys.
And
19.5, I got 20.5.
I would still lay it. And I'll lay the 6.5 with UCLA over Cal. That's another one that I can't seem to. That's another one I can't seem to
surprised they're not a bigger favorite on that for the points.
Again, that's another one that I can't seem to bet right. When it comes to Cal, no matter what side I'm on, it usually goes the other way. By the way, Josh, just so you know, I have a look-ahead line on the SEC championship.
Me too.
Georgia -4.
Yep.
Take that. I would take Georgia -4.
Taking Bama at plus 165.
Okay.
Winner!
So
don't put because you're gonna lose.
All right. So we obviously have we've got some Turkey Day games tomorrow. Let's look at the NFL slate. Whether it be tomorrow or Sunday. Since I'm looking here, I guess I'll go first. I will, for the life of me, I don't know why I'm going to do this. I'm going to assume they wake up. I'll lay the 6.5 with the Bills. The Saints, with Trevor Siemian, the offense is inept.
Kamara's
out. I got the 6.5 here too for the Bills.
I do too, because no Alvin Kamara, no Mark Ingram.
Yeah, I was going to say Kamara's out, Ingram's questionable. So you have a shaky run game. No pass game.
No real quarterback.
I got to assume the Bills can move the ball a little bit, so I'll lay the 6.5. I will lay the 3.5 with the Eagles against my Giants. I don't know why it's 3.5. I really don't.
Should be
There's
33.
no rhyme or reason for that. I will. I'll lay the 3 with the Bucs against the Colts. I will put the Carson Wentz idea to play here, in that a Bucs defense that hasn't been great but is not horrible can put Wentz in some shaky situations. I mean, let us not forget, despite the fact that the Colts beat the Titans, Wentz tried to give that game away a couple of weeks ago.
I took the Colts +3 on that one. I took Lions.
Yeah,
I have the Lions too. Or no, I don't. I'm sorry. I have the Bears.
Yeah, I was going to say, at the moment, nothing else really jumping out at me. The only thing I do kind of like is, and since Chico's all about
over the Jets,
since Chico's all about those money lines, +110 Dolphins over the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got that.
I'll say Dolphins seem to be finding themselves a little bit. Panthers are still a mess, even with McCaffrey back. So
and Newton back.
Yeah, that's all I got right now. Check the Twitter. That's where the picks go.
I'm going to give you a Thanksgiving Day lock. I've got all 3. Chicago over Detroit, Dallas over Vegas, and Buffalo over New Orleans. So 3-team parlay. That's a lock to hit.
Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton. I mean, he looked good last week. And Lions, even though they'll tie the Steelers, are not good enough to win a game right now. So not too concerned. the only benefit to Detroit winning that game is Matt Nagy probably gets fired. So that's the only thing. If you want to make that a 14 parlay, take New England over Tennessee. I like them at -7. The rest of the slate I couldn't really care less about. If you want my one potential underdog, it's Jacksonville against Atlanta. I don't know why, but I just see Atlanta fucking that up somehow. And it's +2.5. So
Jacksonville's scrappy.
Yeah, Jacksonville's scrappy. They've won a couple games, which is more than I thought they would do. So
That's true.
I could see them beating Atlanta. If you want an underdog take, that would be my best bet there. I also like the Miami +110 against Carolina. Like I like that too.
Chico?
That's it for me.
Pretty much everything we said I already had. I'm taking the Lions over the Bears, taking the Bills at 6.5, taking the Colts at 3, and Dolphins money line. As much as I want my Raiders to win, I don't see it happening, even though that +300 looks very tempting.
All right.
And then Josh said the same thing. I was looking at Pats -7, and I like the Jaguars to be upset against Atlanta. And I don't know. I keep looking at the Jets and Texas game.
That's so hard.
I don't bet slop.
Yeah.
But I don't. Are the Texans for real this week against the Jets?
Chico, what's the total?
44.
Yeah, 44.5.
Take the under.
Okay.
Yeah, I would take the under on that game because that's going to be a sloppy game.
Davis Mill's going to throw
Is
up.
Wilson back this week?
Himself.
Is who back?
Zach?
Yeah, I think I was like Zach is starting, and it's not Davis Mill, isn't it Tyrod?
It is Tyrod. You're right.
See, with Tyrod there, then I see the Texans winning. If Tyrod's not playing and then Wilson's just there, then I would.
I'll say it's Tyrod.
Yes, Tyrod.
All right. So we all good? That it?
Yep.
Oh, I'm just going to do this as a way of jinxing myself. San Francisco +3 against the Vikings.
-3.
Fair enough.
Is that what I said?
You said
I said +3, -3. San Francisco -3.
we got to touch the Rams and Packers game?
Nope.
The total is 47.5.
And I like the under.
Yeah, same here actually. That's all I got.
So again, tomorrow, Sunday. Sunday. I'll say you can, and Saturday. Follow us on Twitter. Picks will go up there. As far as next week's show, it's a to be determined. I have to do some travels. We were going to try and do a live show. Schedule doesn't look like it's going to work out for that. So we will keep you updated on what we will do, even potentially a double show next week. We'll see. But again, you can, if you missed any of the show, you can go on YouTube. We'll be on Spotify, all that good stuff. Like, subscribe.
Oh, yeah.
If you want the movie TV show that we just started last week, Podiversity, that is on Twitch.
Not the name.
Nerdiversity.
Podiversity.
Podiversity?
Don't mind me. Nerdiversity.
I still can't say it, so.
Yeah, it's fine.
So that is live on Twitch Friday night. The Twitch is Nerdiversity Podcast. There we go. I got that right. There we go. I was blending.
Podiversity Nerdcast.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is Friday night. Our first episode, we talked about the Spider-Man trailer and a whole bunch of Batman. This week, we will dive into Shang-Chi, which I know Chico is very excited about. And I believe the second thing we're diving into is King Richard. That I was going to say.
The Will Smith movie.
Yeah. I'll say, unless that changes. But again, Friday, Twitch, Nerdiversity Podcast. That's where you can find it. All right. But until then, for the Stash Chico, the Beard Josh, I'm Dan. We'll see you next time.
Dan.